Hello. Let's get that. Come on, Reggie, please cooperate. Please cooperate. Do-do-do. Da-da-da. Hey, go get your bucket. Come on, buddy. Hi, friends. Hello. Hello, hello. Come on. We're just about there. I think. Where are we? Oh, there we are. Right? I think. There we go. Oh, gosh. I think. My volume's on. I was watching Vicky last night, and my volume was on there. Hello, friends. Good morning. Ooh, something's in my eye. Good morning to you. Wow, like a hair or something. Happy Saturday. Welcome, welcome. Happy last Saturday of June. Like, seriously, do you believe that? I don't even know where the time goes. We are halfway through 2025. That is just like mind-boggling. Anyhow, hello, welcome, happy Saturday. My name is Lael Kankar, and we are here today to do some creative listing. I have a business called Lael by Mail. When I am not traveling, we are usually here on Saturdays, sometimes weeknights, and spoiler alert, we will be listing again on Tuesday. Tuesday is the first of July, because then I will be gone the following 4th of July weekend. So just kind of keep that in mind. We're listing Saturday, and now in a couple days we'll be listing on Tuesday night again. Anyhow, we get together and we'll do what I like to call creative listing. So a couple days before we meet, I publish on the blog a couple of listing topics, and we get together and we play. We play and we laugh. Sometimes there's some tears, but they're not sad tears. They're not, oh my gosh, I messed up. I dropped an ink pad on top of my project that was almost done. Well, that happens every once in a while. But the tears are always happy tears, right? Happy tears. But speaking of dropped ink pads, things like that happen, right? Because that's real life. So when things like that happen, we just chat about what can we do to fix it, right? How do we overcome that? How do we roll with it? What do we do? So lots of fun, but lots of learning along the way. We are basically telling our story when we're making creative lists in a super easy, fun, approachable way. So that is our plan for today. Most, if not all, the products that I am using, you will find on my website at laelbymail.com. In the description box of the video, there is a link to the what I'm using page on the website, and that changes every time we're together. So if you are, watching it within a couple of days when I have listed, you'll find those specific products under what I'm using. Otherwise, you can just find them on laelbymail.com. Let me check. Amy may be with us today, so I'll take a quick break here and we'll stop chatting this way. I'm going to take a look at the live chat and see who's here. If you're watching with us live, pop in the chat and say hello, please. It's a lovely place to be. Wonderful people. Some people are brand new. Some people have been in the Lael by Mail community for a long time. Just know the chat can run pretty fast. So if you leave a comment and I miss it, that's not you, it's me. And if you leave a comment and someone else misses it, just know that's not you, it's someone else, all right? The best way, if you've left a comment and I miss it and you'd like me to see it, is to type your comment again and type it in all uppercase. Once I rotate the camera, it's a lot easier for me to see the chat. So just keep that in mind. If you're watching the replay, welcome, welcome. Happens a lot during the summer since, life, right? Especially summer life. It seems to be a lot of activities happening in the summer. We're out enjoying the beautiful weather. Maybe you have kids or grandkids, lots of activities, summer vacations and things like that. So if you're watching the replay, welcome to you. Let's take a look at the chat, see who's here. Alrighty. Hello, Carrie Meredith. Happy Saturday from the beautiful Willamette Valley. That just sounds beautiful. Hello, hello. Hi, Cindy with the purple hearts. Amy is here. Okay, let me segue really quickly for that. That's really funny. I say segue. That came up on one of our lists a couple weeks ago, things turning 25 in 2025. If you didn't know, the Segway, that weird little machine that you kind of ride, but I'd fall off instantly. Segway turns 25. But I digress. I sing. Anyhow, Amy, my right hand, is here. She is in the chat. Hi, Amy. Thanks for coming. Thanks for joining us. As I am working with product, Amy will make it super easy for you to find what I'm looking for. So you can see Amy in the chat. She is in blue, and there is a little wrench next to her. She's an admin. And she will be popping links to what I'm using, so make it really easy for you to find. She also is a great question answerer, as are a number of you out there, so I appreciate that. All right, hello, Amy. Hi, Carrie. Hello, Paula Krabs. Hi, Debbie Henderson from Southern California. Shelly Walton from Stockbridge, Georgia. Hello, Kathy from also Southern California. DG Man 76. It's Georgia. She is Georgia, but from Pennsylvania. Hello. Kathy Rodriguez is here from Southern Cal. I think I just grabbed her. Hello, Ms. L. Nice to see you. Carrie. Carrie said today is going to be twofold, listing and cleaning the workshop. Yeah, it's kind of a Saturday, right? Sometimes we have lots of things on our to-do list on Saturday. Just ask Nick. He has a long list of to-dos that I have made for him. He's at Home Depot right now, so I'm sure he'll pop in at some point. Hello, Danelle. Good morning from sunny North Texas. Mindy, nice to see you. It's been a while, my friend. From Oklahoma, rainy and stormy. Martine is here joining us from the Netherlands. It is evening for her. Hello, Martine. Hello, Marilee from Sacramento. Jennifer. We have a couple teachers back to back there. Marilee and Jennifer are both teachers, which we can't thank you guys enough for in our world. So thank you. I hope you're enjoying your summer break, both of you, and any other teachers that we have here. Hi, Ty. Good morning. Hello, Louisa. I hung out with Louisa last night. Well, we hung out together, probably with many of you. Louisa, I don't know if you knew I was there, but I saw you chatting it up quite a bit on Vicky's live last night. She made a beautiful mixed media project, just beautiful. Hello, Miss Melissa from sunny Odessa, Texas. Janae, welcome to your first live. It sounds like you've been watching for a while, but this is your first live, so welcome to you. Always fun to have you guys live, for sure. VS Visage from New York. Good morning. Kathy Williams, good morning to you and happy birthday. I hope you have a wonderful day and you do as many fun things that make you happy as you can, right? And I hope the people around you make it a wonderful day for you as well. Kathy, good morning. Kathy is glad to be here. Erica's here from St. Louis. Gerda from hot Central Texas. Oh, I'm sure. In fact, I'm feeling rather hot myself. Just had to move the fan in a little closer. Good morning, Terry. Nice to see you. Annette. Hello, Annette. Annette Fertitta is with us. Let's see. Oh, yes, she won a prize a couple of weeks ago. We'll talk about prizes in a bit, but I'm glad you received your prize. Enjoy that. Patricia, good morning. Terry, you and Bob drive safely to the cabin. Enjoy the cabin. I'm sure it's a wonderful time of year to be there. Ms. L, thank you. Kind of fun little, summer little sweater top from TJ Maxx because I love the TJ Maxx. Joyce, watching Layla video from 22 with her doing a numbers page. When I grow up, I want to be able to make pages like she does. Okay, Joyce, so there's a little phrase I want to share with you, and I'm talking to Joyce, but I'm also talking to all of you. And I've shared this every once in a while. Years ago, when I worked for Carpe Diem, Simple Stories, there was an event called PlannerCon in San Francisco, and it was an amazing event. And I would go and teach workshops there. We had a booth there. Around that time, I started to get to know Corey Speaker, the Reset Girl. While I was at Simple Stories, we did a co-branded collection with Corey. And so I was sitting in on one of her workshops at PlannerCon. And she said something in that workshop that has always stuck with me. And it stuck with me related to many different aspects of life. But Joyce, it rings true in this scenario as well. She said, never compare your beginning to someone else's middle. All right? And that just says, you know what? You never know where someone is on their journey, right? Maybe you are an aspiring gardener, but you have just started. And the home across the street from you, the family there has been gardening for generations and generations and generations. And so you look across the street and then you look at your house because you've just started and you think, you know what? I can't do this. Why even bother? Well, you don't know what their middle is. Like I said, they've been doing it for generations and you are just starting. So I think about that a lot. I think a lot about it when it comes to health journeys, physical journeys, mental journeys, creative journeys. It really is just kind of one of those things that has really stuck with me. So The other one I like to throw in there is you do you, right? And also comparison is the thief of joy, right? Anyhow, we do this. We do this because it makes us happy. Some of us do it because we are documenting ourselves. And some of us are doing it purely for the sake of creating and the joy that we get from that. And for me, it's mixed, right? I very much enjoy the documenting. It's very important to me that I document this way. But don't kid yourself. I get so much joy out of being here with you guys and being social and then playing with all the fun things. So you do you. No one, most likely, is ever going to see what you do. So if it makes you happy, then it's perfect. I always say there's only two things you need to do to play with us. Only two things you need to have to play with us. Something to write with and something to write on. If you have both of those things, you are killing it. Because you're documenting. And to me, that's the most important part. So I'll get off my little soapbox. But Joyce, don't compare your beginning to somebody else's middle, okay? Okay. And thank you. I love it when you guys share things like that. You know me, I'll get off on a little tangent. But yeah, that is my little opinion. Terry, thanks for the reminder. Thumbs up, friends. If you are watching live, if you're watching the replay, thumbs up. That is the easiest, most simple way. It literally takes you a second to support content creator, which, you know, content creators on any platform, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, whatever, blah, 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 all the, you know, all the things. A thumbs up or a quick comment, you'd be surprised at how much it helps. So thank you, Terry, for that reminder. Danelle, I love that. She said she found this community just a couple of months ago, and I am so happy I did. I am happy you did as well, Danelle. It's a great community. It's a great, very supportive community, and we have fun, right? Wendy is at work, but watching as she can. Yeah, you guys are all over. Sometimes you're working, sometimes you're playing, sometimes you're driving, but hopefully you're not the one driving. Sometimes you're cleaning your house. You guys tell me the funniest stories. I think it's Leslie. I think Leslie shared this at one point, that she was, I know her husband, Sean, because he's been at events that I've taught at quite a bit for many years. And she was listening to me, and I think she was cleaning the bathroom or something. And I may be getting two stories mixed up, so forgive me if I am. But maybe phone was on the bed, and then maybe phone fell off the bed and under the bed. And Sean, or whomever it was, if this was not Leslie's story, walked in and said, "What is Lael doing under the bed?" Anyhow. I don't even know how I got to that tangent. Hello, my friend Allison. Oh, guess what? We're using Allison numbers today. Allison numbers, when I show, actually on our first list, we're using Allison numbers. And Allison numbers named after my dear friend Allison, who brought forth the idea of that stamp set, which I just love, love, love. And Allison, I saw your email last night. I haven't had a chance to really dig into it, but thank you. I can't wait to dig on it. You shared some things, some photos of your list, which I'm so excited to really dive into. Oh yes, I know. Wendy, that's how, full circle. Wendy said she's working, and yeah, that's how I got to the what's Lael doing under the bed story. Melissa said she's all eyes and ears this morning. Can't wait to see what layouts are shared. Hi Jackie, nice to see you. Create with Jen Ben. Hello Jen Ben here from NC, North Carolina. Janaea 1976, welcome also to your first live. Lots of you watch the replays and we never get to see you. So I love it that you are having a chance to watch live, but not only that, popping in and saying hi, so we know that you're here and we can welcome you. Cherie in Douglasville near Atlanta. Hello, hello, hello. Fiona from Arnhem. Fiona, Amsterdam, Netherlands? I don't know. Tell us. And then I'll probably miss it. Melissa's enjoying summer break, but it's going by really quick. I know it is, isn't it? Annette's from Gulfport, Mississippi. Mama Juju Crafton on the back 40. Love that. Hi, Mama Juju Crafton on the back 40 from Mississippi. Lisa, hi Lisa. Lisa, I think also was last night on Vicky's. Is that right? I think so. I just lurk and then was working and getting ready for things for today and designing a make and take for an event that I'm teaching at in October and just kind of all over the world. Hello, Miss Colleen. Nice to see you. Lisa's doing her best to type with her new fancy nails. Takes some adjusting to, doesn't it? Louisa, yes. Okay, we saw each other. Yeah, it's really fun. It's fun for me to do what you guys do. Nick was traveling yesterday, got home later in the evening, and so, I had some work to do, so I just put Vicky on. Vicky was live last night, and I just put her on, and it just kept me company. And then, of course, fun to watch, which she has amazing creations that she makes. So I like to be you guys too, for sure. Hi, Carol from Central Canada. Good morning, Pam. Nice to see you. I hope you're having a lovely summer. Pam, is this your second summer now retired? I think it is. I think so, right? I hope you're enjoying it. And now you're probably nice and really settled in. Louisa said she looks forward to another YouTube with Vicky and myself. We've done it once. When she was here visiting, we did two actually. We did one night on my channel, one the next night on her channel. And it was a hoot. So we keep talking about her coming here again. And it's her turn to come here. A couple of years ago, I went up there. So it's her turn to come here. Next time we're together, we will do our best to try to do another joint live because it was so much fun. She dragged me in kicking and screaming into her mixed media world, and then we did some fun listing together on mine. So, yes, always fun. Always, always, always. Michelle K just left a long vacation in Yellowstone. Oh, I love that. Yellowstone is magical, magical. Nick and I were just talking about that last weekend. Last weekend we were in Colorado. We went to the Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. That's a hard one to remember. And we were talking just about, we were driving a lot, and if you think that all of this is play and not what I really do, we're driving, and I am making a list in my Harvey notebook of all of the national parks that we had been to. So we were talking about some of those trips, and Yellowstone came up. We did maybe 20 years ago, so the boys were much younger. Obviously our kids. But what a magical place to be, and we were saying we need to go back. Absolutely. So safe travels on your drive back to Wisconsin. Yeah, that's a bit of a haul, isn't it? I will plug in. Yes, absolutely. Thank you for the reminder. When I rotate, I probably need another reminder. Hello. I just saw. I don't know. Missed it. Carla. Hi, Carla from Clifton, Virginia. Melissa, going to work on her traveler's notebook for journaling her trip off to Seattle and San Diego next week. Both amazing places, both so totally different, other than they're both on the coast, but amazing. You'll have so much fun. So many fun things to see and do. Colleen, it's been a busy morning, meeting at 8, downtown farmers market and the grocery store. I think you deserve a nap, Colleen. You are one of the most active, engaged women I know. Seriously. Hi, Jackie. It has been a while. Nice to see you. Alrighty. Irene, Scrapbook Sister, hello. Look at you, too. You went grocery shopping, laundry, and had walked to the mailbox. You're tired. You deserve a nap. You deserve a rest. Hi, Heidi. It has been a long time. I'd love to, visualize your beautiful smiling face. So nice to see you, Heidi. It's just like if we were in person, we would all be, if we were all in person at an event together, which is really, this is what this is. We're all at a class together. We'd be doing our little social before we started. So this is just our little social, checking in and saying hi. DW, your first time live as well. You are so anxious to start this process of listing. DW, just one piece of advice, just start. You cannot start in the wrong place. I taught a workshop in April at Little Craft Fest. It was Creative Listing 101, basically how to get started. I have all of that content. Now, as part of their workshop, they received a really healthy kit of nice, product to play with for listing. But I am turning that workshop into a free class. So the content is free, and then you can buy, the add-on kit if you want. But I just need a spare minute. To do that, to turn it into a class. So like I said, all the content's there. It'll probably take me, 5 or 6 hours to do. I just have to find 5 or 6 hours to make it happen. But that is probably one of the most frequent questions I get asked is, how do I start? How do I start this? I don't know where to start. How do I start? So I will work on that as soon as I can. But there are lots of people here that can give you some really good advice on where to start based on their experience. Because I tell you one thing, but that's just me. If other people that have lived it and have done it can share it, I think that's helpful too. All right, friends. Annette, I love what Annette just said. She said, love documenting in smaller sizes. 12 by 12 always intimidated me. And she's referring to a lot of us have in the past, some of us still do, scrapbook. So 12 by 12 scrapbook pages, which this is a totally different format. And yes, I think a little bit more intimidating. I have a lot of fun with this little smaller size. All right, friends, I think we are ready. Well, let's talk about a couple housekeeping items, and then let's talk about a couple of housekeeping items. Sometimes the brain goes faster, the mouth goes, I don't know, one goes faster than the other. Couple of housekeeping. There's a blip in the universe there. Let's have a quick sip of water. Is that what they call it? I don't know what they call it when they say that something weird like that happens. Anyhow, let's take care of a couple of housekeeping items first. Then we will rotate the camera and jump in. Listing schedule. If you missed it, I usually put out the listing schedules in 3-month chunks. So earlier this month, I put out the listing schedule for July, August, and September. You generally will find those at the bottom of every email that I send out. You will find those pinned to the top of the Lail by Mail Facebook page and the Lail by Mail Facebook group. There is also a blog post. I had to make some changes to July because 2 trips have popped up that were originally not on the schedule when I did the schedule. So just know we will be listing again on Tuesday, July 1st. And then check the schedule, all right? So there were 2 dates that I had to move, but I replaced them with other dates during the week. So make sure to watch for that because I don't want you to, be here next Saturday going, hello, it's 4th of July weekend. I planned to list and now no one's here. So watch for those. A couple of things coming up. Mid-June, June 15th is the... Mid-July. You didn't miss anything. Mid-July is the July stamp and die release. So 6 new stamps, 1 new die. I have peeked those a little bit here and there on my lives. I might just share another peek at one of those new stamp sets today. But you'll see those live starting on July 15th. July 1st is Tuesday. Every year I do a Christmas in July sale. Christmas in July, meaning all Christmas products go on sale because there are a lot of new things coming. Gotta make room. One of the big new things coming is my second Lail by Mail collection. The first was postcards and passports. The second one that is coming is called Dear December. It has 14 papers. It has 4 die cut packs. It has word strip stickers, icon stickers, 3 stamp sets, washi. So lots of amazing designs. We worked really, really hard. Well, we work really hard on all the things, but I can't wait for you guys to see that. I will start sneaking that a little bit over the next in July and a little bit in August. But where you will really see that is the end of August. That will be what I use in my annual December documented mini book project kit. So those of you that have been working with me for years with those annual projects, it's all my own product this year except for the binder. And when we get there, I'll talk about why. Anyhow, this will be, I think, the 19th year I've been doing this project. This is the first year that it's all my own product, and that just blows my mind. Anyhow, so lots of fun things coming. I will have all of that a la carte as well. So those of you that maybe don't do that project with me, just know that we will be using the heck out of that late November into December for our lists that we do around that time of year. Plus lots of other fun things. I don't even know. There's so many fun things coming. It's just exciting. We are, yesterday, we're probably 98% done wrapping up the artwork for Season Pass Fall Holiday. So this is... time of year is just, there's lots going on. If you ordered the Here and There mini book project kit, class for that is July 8th. You should have already received an email for that. There'll be another reminder email that goes out. The die cuts, the postcards and passport die cuts had sold out, and they are arriving again today. So They're back in stock again on the website, and for a brief period yesterday, that Here and There mini book project kit was showing sold out, but I added the die cuts back, and then so everything was good. So just know we're good there. I don't know. I never write down all of our housekeeping items, but I think that's about it. If I think of something else, I'll bring it up. All right, let's rotate the camera. Turn off the lights, turn on the lights, and we'll be ready to play. Okay. Louise says, very excited for this year's December documented kit. Oh my goodness, I am too, Louisa, seriously. Hello, Maureen. Thank you guys. Yes, thank you for all the nice comments on my top. Nice summery little oranges, right? I will tell you, it totally gave me an idea for, I don't know, I think some paper maybe for season pass next summer. Wouldn't paper in that be super cute? I think so. You get inspiration for product everywhere, right? Lots of different places, even sweaters from TJ Maxx. Hello, my friend Vicki Bowden. Vicki and I caught up yesterday. It had been a while. 2.5 hours. We were on the phone for 2.5 hours, which I love because, I just put in my headphones and, I'm running around the house doing lots of different things, shipping some things, just doing a lot of different things. And it's nice to really, have a good long chat like that with your bestie. So sorry about that, friends. That was my little cord there's little skiwampus, just a little skiwampus. Oh, all right. So this is funny, and I don't think she's here, but Amy, would you do me a big favor? Our designer that is working on the fall holiday season pass is texting me a whole bunch of things and probably expecting she's wrapping up fall holiday. She's texting me all kinds of things, thinking that she's asking for feedback on the last couple of things. And I'm sure she doesn't know that it will be probably 3 or 4 hours before she hears from me. So thank you. I appreciate it. Kathy, great question. Kathy asked, Lael, will you stock Here and There indefinitely or as a limited release? So Here and There is the project kit. Postcards and Passports is the collection. And that is it's a very interesting question. I won't stock it indefinitely. When I work with my printer, so the stamps I can continue to order. No problem. The word strip stickers I can continue to order, no problem. The die cuts I can continue to order, no problem. Washi, yes, same thing. Really what comes into play is the paper, because the larger quantities of paper that I order, the lower my price point per sheet gets. If I am only ordering a couple hundred, my price point per sheet gets pretty steep, and it makes it pretty cost prohibitive to do that. I did just place a reorder for all of the postcards and passports papers because I did a gang run with all of the December documented, my Dear December papers. So that made a lot of sense. So I don't know if that helps. So we'll see. I don't know how long we'll have it. I definitely won't have it forever. And it's not one of those things. It's not me saying to you, oh, you better get it because, limited quantities while supplies last with the flashing lights and all of that, right? It's not that. It's just, it's hard to tell. So as long as I have the product, I can continue to do the mini book project kit, the Here and There project kit, but it just really depends. So as with things in life, I've learned the hard way that when I'm shopping and I see a pair of shoes that I love, I better just buy them, because if I go back 2 weeks later, guaranteed the shoes are not going to be there. And then I can't stop thinking about the shoes forever. You know what I mean? Hi, Susan. Nice to see you. Pool day, Starbucks right now. I am jealous times 2. Jealous times 2. You deserve it, though, and you enjoy your pool day, Vicki. Hope to attend your December documented class at RSA at Ready, Set, Create. Oh, Susan, anybody going to Ready, Set, Create, you guys will actually see a sneak peek of the Dear December collection early July because you will get an email from Miss Ginger. And I have the die cuts, not the paper yet. I'll have the paper proofs. I'll have all the proofs of my papers on Monday so I can approve them before they go to press. So I won't have a sneak peek of the project yet, but you guys will see a sneak peek image of some of the products. Yeah, very exciting. No time limit. No time limit, really. Hello, Melissa from Pretty Little Studio. Melissa, so fun to have you here again. Melissa, you must have seen, maybe, that I was going to be using Love is Kind in one of my lists today. So thank you for joining us, and totally popped in unexpectedly, which makes it all the more special. That I'll transition to that because that's going to be our first list that we're going to do, you guys, is with the Love is Kind collection from Pretty Little Studio. But before we do that, very quickly, let's take a look at the list that we did last week, or 2 weeks ago, when we were together. So we did 3 lists. Well, we did 2 and a partial list, and then I gave up on the last partial list, but I resurrected it. So we will take a look at that. I promised you guys I would figure it out and then share it with you, which I figured it out this morning. So that's why I have blue ink all over my hands. All right, our first list that we did last week is a list that we do usually 6 or 7 times a year. And it is things I'm looking forward to. Those of you that say you are anxious to, you're feeling a little bit of anxiety in terms of knowing how to start and when to start and what to start with when it comes to listing. This is a great one. Things I'm looking forward to. We do this list seasonally. Things I'm looking forward to this winter, spring, summer, fall. We do it for Christmas. We do it for things I'm looking forward to this year and things I'm looking forward to next year. All right. So the list that we did last, when we were together last, is things I'm looking forward to this summer. This was a 2-page list. I used a couple of different stamp sets. I used the All the Things. I kind of call it a Granimal type stamp set because it's a mix and match with your little basic prompts, and then you kind of build your titles from there. So that was the All the Things stamp set. I used the In the Box 2 stamp set. So stamped my little boxes to add the things that I am looking forward to. I used the In the Box 2 stamp set over here along with the In the Box 2 metal dies to cut those out and then adhere them to the pattern paper. The pattern paper and the die cuts are from the Spring Summer Season Pass. So we had a lot of fun with that one. We did a little tip in as I put that together, and that tip in I added a page using tip in tape. All right, so that was our first list. Our second list is a list that we do every so often. This is what I call a time capsule list. Things, or basically my currently list. So things I am currently doing: eating, drinking, listening, reading, celebrating, and so forth. So I used a combination on this list of stamps from the Currently stamp set, as well as the Currently 2 stamp set. So stamped the title, and then, I don't know, I think between the 2 stamp sets, there are 60 or 70, I want to say, something like that. Don't quote me. Different prompts. So this list is always changing, right? Because the things that you are doing are always changing. Time capsule, very specific snapshot in time. This is a really fun one to do for yourself, but also to do for other people around you. So if you have littles in your life, maybe little kids or grandkids, something like that, you really see these things change as kids are young, right? So we used those stamp set and paired it with products from the Spring Summer Season Pass. So this is kind of the May portion of the Spring Summer Season Pass, whereas this was the June portion of Spring Summer Season Pass. The third list. Hello, Marie. Nice to see you. Good morning, Crafty Poodle Mom. And hello, Jolene. This was the third list. So I had started out with a plan. This is in the news. In the news is a list that we do usually on a once a month basis where we are just capturing things in the news. This, when we do this list, is a very factual list. Just the facts, all right? There is no commentary. So I say, for example, one of the things that hit my radar, because Weight Watchers in and out of my life, you know, since I was probably 20, Weight Watchers files for bankruptcy. So that was something that hit my radar in terms of things that, were part of the news in May. But that is all I say about that. I don't give any input. I don't give any feedback, whether that's a good thing or a bad thing or why. Same thing with the new Pope. Same thing with the temporary reduction in the tariffs between China and the US and other things, right? So this is all just to adjust the facts. I'm usually blending photos with my lists. So last week when we did this, I die cut, I think 6 typewriters, thinking that I was going to put a photo in each typewriter, and my typewriters would be pockets here, 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 here. Well, that went south really quickly. As soon as I started laying things out, I'm like, that is horrible. That is not going to work. It's too much. It's just not going to work. So I messed around with it for a while. And then finally I said, you know what, you guys, I'm just not feeling this. And it's important to me because I know I've been crafting for 28 years. Well, paper crafting and then all kinds of crafting before that. But it's taken me a long time to discover that if something is not working for me, it just doesn't make sense to keep trying to fix it or force it. So I said, you know what? I'm going to step away. I'm going to let it simmer. For me, sometimes if I walk away from things and then come back later with a fresh perspective, it makes all the difference in the world. So that's what I did this morning. And this morning, literally, this came together, I'm not kidding you, in 15 minutes. So I just ended up using the In the News stamp set to stamp a couple of titles here in my spaces that were offset from the staggered photos. I did end up using one of the typewriters. I stamped the month May there. And then the other photos I had printed out from last week, I popped in the pocket. So the die cut typewriter, I turned into a pocket just by adding my adhesive along the sides and bottom. 2 more photos. And then these little journaling things. Why am I sticking? This is what I ran out of time to do this morning. So I do have my things. I do have the things on my list for my just messy workbook here. Here we go. This was my In the News. So I have the things for my list. So now all I have to do is come in and add my commentary about the things that hit my radar in the news for the month of May. All right. So moral of that story, if you are struggling, walk away. Walk away. You just, yeah. Then what I did, I actually had one more spread here in my traveler's notebook. Once you get to the end, for me, it starts to get a little bit harder to work in your traveler's notebook when you get to the very end. So I did have one more spread, and I'm like, you know what? I'm not going to do that last spread, but that would have given me 2 blank pages here. So all I did, I just used my tape runner to adhere them together. And at some point, I may or may not do something here. I may do a to be continued. I may have a rogue list that I want to put there or something like that. But that is now me finishing that insert. That insert started in, I did, March 22nd. And it is ending on, this was June. Probably better write the date on this. This ended June 28th. So usually, and based on me doing lists when we're always together, roughly every week, usually it takes me about 3 months to fill up an insert, all right? Now, one of the things that happens when you get here, look at, this is totally sticking out. And even some of the pages in the center are coming out. And that is bound to happen because your little staples that are binding your insert can only hold so much when you start adding so much more, right? So let me just show you a couple quick things before we move on. So basically your insert starts out like this, super skinny, right? I mean, look at the difference there, super skinny. But as you add and add and add, it starts to pop out, right? And your little staples there can only handle so much before they start to come apart. And that's okay. That happens with every listing traveler's notebook I do just because I add so much to them. So part of my process, once I am done with an insert, I deconstruct it, all right? I take out the staples, I take off the cover, and the cover goes off to the side. It goes in the garbage. I don't use that cover anymore. It is purely there to just kind of hold it in place while I am working. Then I take a piece of 12 by 12 pattern paper and I make a new cover. All right, so I make a new cover that now extends past all those yummy pages, right, to help protect those. And then I hand stitch that with wax thread and a blunt needle. There is a class, a free class here on my YouTube channel that walks through exactly how I do that process. But if you've been working in a traveler's notebook and you get about 3/4 of the way through and your pages start to pop like that, you did nothing wrong. It's inevitable because there's so much goodness in there that it can't hold it anymore. All right, so we took a look at our our 3 lists that we did last week. Let's now jump into our first list for today. Our first list for today is using the Love is Kind collection from Pretty Little Studio. If you have not seen it, or you've just seen bits and pieces of it and you want to see more, I did an unboxing of the whole collection a couple of weeks ago, maybe about a week and a half ago. Amy, will you pop that link to that unboxing video for Love is Kind, if you would? It is a very healthy collection. There are lots of pieces to it. It was really fun because Melissa from Pretty Little Studio popped into the chat and was giving us all kind of behind the scenes about her business and the collection and different products in the collection, which was really fun. So you can watch that if you'd like. So there are some products that I had pulled out. This was the first one. The second that I saw this piece of pattern paper, I thought, you know what? I know exactly what I'm doing with this. I know exactly what I'm doing. That paper is from the mixed paper pack. The Love is Kind mixed paper pack. Now, it started out already at 6 inches wide. So I am for the flat lay. The photograph that you see advertising our session, I already trimmed it a little bit. So this is going to be the start. I will show you my inspiration for this list. Every time I see any kind of starburst paper like that, this is what it makes me, this is what it reminds me of, and it makes me want to do this. So this is what we're doing. So back in, I've opened up the Listing with Lael Idea Book, Volume 2. So these are all the lists that we did in 2023. And we did a list in May of 2023, things I'm looking forward to this summer. There was a stencil that I used. A stencil, look at me go. I don't do things like that very often. I used a stencil and used my Distress Oxide inks, and I made kind of this ray of sunshine. And then I used clear stickers from Pretty Little Studio to add words to my rays of sunshine. So this is my inspiration for today's list. Do you see that? So I bet you know what I'm going to do with some clear Pretty Little Studio stickers. They're going to go in some of those rays of sunshine. All right. So this first list that we're doing is things that make me laugh. All right, just things that make me laugh. It's a good idea to make a list about those because sometimes you might forget what makes you laugh. Sometimes you might need a little reminder, right? Sometimes life gets a little heavy and you need a reminder of those things that make you laugh. So that is our topic for this list. I have pulled out a brand new insert, right? We're starting fresh. And this is a 2-page spread. So I am going to skip the first page. Sometimes I come back and do something on here. Sometimes I don't. I think, is it in the, let me look. In this idea book? Is it in this year's 2024? There's a great article in 2024 about how to get started. No. Okay, so it's 2023. Also in 2023, I show you some ideas on, starting and ending an insert. So sometimes I'll do a little list on there. Sometimes I will do a quote on there. Sometimes I'll just do a really pretty, page with a title. Sometimes I'll do a list with a calendar. It really just depends. But sometimes I don't do anything, right? There are no rules. You can decide what you want to do to start out a project or not. Some people will do a little bit of decorating here and then date it. So the date that you started and then the date that you ended. I was trying to get in my door. Don't know. All right. So this is a 2-page list. This is going to be my left page. Now, it is a little bit tall. I need to shorten it. This paper pack is 6 by 9. So it's coming from, as I mentioned, the Love is Kind Maine paper pack. Hopefully there's not going to be a lot of sawing. Nick just got back from Home Depot. He is repairing we had a little, I don't know, there's something about the Concar family over the years that water in our home does not really do well with us. We've had a number of minor floods, minor water issues. I think 2 in this house. We've only been in this house 8 years, and I think 2 big ones in our last house. Anyhow, the last one, there was a little issue with the hose connection, like, you know, the water hose, like that you know, water your lawn with or whatever. And we had some leakage in the closet downstairs, so he's fixing that. Anyhow, all right, so I am working in a traveler's notebook insert. That is my kind of format of choice. Some of you use a traveler's notebook. Some of you use a happy planner. Some of you use a spiral notebook. Some of you do lists in a 12 by 12 scrapbook page. There's really no right or wrong what your format is. You just like it is. You want to do it, right? So I use a standard wide. My Lail by Mail traveler's notebook inserts are standard wide, which is 5 inches wide by 8 1/4 inches tall. All right. So this piece was 6 by 9. I already narrowed it down. When I am creating a base, and I'm creating a base to start my page with, generally it is 4 3/4 by 8. 4 3/4 by 8 gives me a nice white border all the way around. So I need to narrow this down just a tad, but I really don't want to get rid of that little point there. Let's see. Well, that didn't really help me much, did it, Lil? I want to keep that point. So let's take some of our narrowing down from over here. 4 3/4. And then this is 9 inches. So what I want to do, I don't want to take it all off the top or all off the bottom, because if I do, then my center point here will look really odd. So if I need to get it to 8, that means I'll take a 1/2 inch off of the top and the bottom, which is a bummer. I'm going to lose that cute little jam right there. That's all right. 1/2 inch off the top and bottom. So now that makes my piece 4 3/4 by 8. So it'll fit just nicely right there. I am going to round the corners, those outside corners. I always like to round my corners because the corners of my inserts are rounded. So it just tends to, I don't know, match a little bit better that way. Oh, forgot little Scatter. He's in the drawer. He doesn't want to be in the drawer. He wants to be out playing with us. All right. The idea books, and I didn't really talk about those as I was pulling those out. If you're not familiar with the Listing with Lail idea books, there are 3. We will continue to put a new one out every year. The first was for our first 3 years of listing. So 2020, 2021, and 2022. That was volume 1. Volume 2 was for 2023. And volume 3 was for 2024. Across those 3 idea books, you have more than 500 lists. So in 5 years, we've made more than 500 lists. That first volume is pretty chunky because it's 3 years worth, but then, you know, after that, we do one each year. All right, so this is my left page. Now let's figure out what we would like to do for our right page. I've pulled out a number of other papers from that same paper pack. This one, I will not use this one here, but I have to find the perfect thing for this. This is like one of my most favorite pattern papers I think I've ever seen. Those little cherries are so freaking cute. And then look at the little die cuts, darling. So, but I won't use that here. I need something a little bit more subtle because I'm going to end up covering up a lot of it as I add white cardstock for my list. So this one goes really well. but I'm not going to use this one because I'm thinking, remember I said that my title of my list is things that make me laugh? If that is not the perfect thing to use for my title, and then I'll write things that make me laugh right below that, I don't know what is. So I could use that, but now that's a lot of kind of monotone, right? A little bit too monotone. That one, let me just double check because I wrote it down. That one is coming from the, Cheers to Us? Is it Cheers to Us? I think it is, or is it, oh golly, hang on. Hang on. It is not Story of Us. Hold on, I just would like to tell you in case you would like to know, in case you're looking for that title. I don't know where it is. I don't know what pack I pulled it from. I thought I wrote it down. Oh, here it is. This is it. This guy. It is from the Friends Forever. Friends Forever die cut titles. All right, so that'll give you a feel for all of those. But that is Endless Laughs, and there are some awesome titles there as well. If you're more of a sticker person instead of a die cut person, you also have that same title on that guy. Those are clear stickers, and that is from the Hug Me clear word stickers or Cheers to Us. So one of these is Hug Me, one of these is Cheers to Us. I will be using things from both of them. All right, anyhow, Endless Laughs. It's kind of like Endless Love. You guys remember the movie Endless Love? And the Lionel Richie song? Oh, loved that. I think I am a sucker for yellow. If you don't know me, this is, yellow is my thing. I really like yellow. So I think I will use yellow. Other things, just depending. I mean, things totally change, obviously, based on what I'm putting here, but I like the yellow, so that's what I'm going with. So again, I will trim that down to 4 3/4 by 8. Insert is 5 by 8.25, so that will give me a nice white border all the way around. 4 3/4 by, and you take an inch off. There we go. Now, I can keep this. This is a great strip to use. Sometimes on our lists, you might be like, well, Lael, listen up. I don't really want to have to put a whole other piece of paper here. Why wouldn't I just write my list here? And I'd say you totally could, right? Because we are often working with a 6 by 8 or a 6 by 9 piece of pattern paper, we're trimming an inch off or a little bit more, right? So we always have strips like that. Well, you could do something like that, put that little decorative guy right there, and then just do your list right here. So your scraps, and really your scraps from any type of your paper crafting projects, you might pull out and work into your traveler's notebooks. All right, so now let's round these corners as well. Things are starting to get a little crazy. The workbook. I noted there was a couple conversations, I think, or a conversation going on about the workbook. That is what you see me use every week, rain or shine. This one I have been using since August of 2024. There was another one prior to this. So this is how I plan what we're doing. So every week I sit down, I know what lists we're doing. I kind of make a little sketch of what I want to do. Like this is a sketch for today, or for this list. I write the things on my list and the products I want to use. So there is a version of this available for you on the website, and you can purchase it either already bound for you, or you can purchase a digital download. All right. And there's more to it than that. There's some pages for sketches and pages for list topics. If you want to kind of keep a master list of all of your list topics that you'd like to work on, that is how I keep track of list topics for us. Because I get all kinds of ideas. You guys give me ideas. I see ideas. I might see something on Instagram. I might see those little card games where you pull a card and you read and it's a topic, a conversation starter. But I also have friends, Allison Kimball, that send me list ideas that are also in here. Look at that. December 2022, Allison sent me a giant email. So, in fact, even this one, someone posted this in the Lail by Mail Facebook group. So I printed it out because I thought there are some great list ideas on there. But usually where I put all of our list ideas is I'm just jotting them down if they aren't things like that. Here, so you have pages in your workbook of list ideas like that. And they just keep going. They just keep on going. So lots of different list ideas. We got to keep it new and fresh, right? Okay, so here we go. I will not be writing my list here. I can hear the shop vac downstairs as Nick is vacuuming up all the insulation. Hopefully you guys, you know what? Let me do this. Let me shut the door. So hopefully it drowns out a little bit of that noise. But I will show you what Reggie left me. If you know, you know. Reggie the cat. He is an indoor cat. Cats like to hunt. Every once in a while he finds a mouse. But this is what he hunts for me. These are packing envelopes. And you can see his little teeth marks. Now don't worry, when you order, you don't get a Reggie envelope. Although Cindy did ask for a Reggie envelope and we sent it to her. Anyhow, he puts these in his mouth and he carries them up the stairs. So he's already brought me one. We'll see if he keeps hunting for me today. All right. It's like Goodwill hunting, but it's Reggie Sir Reginald III hunting. All right. So I'm going to...
I had to slam the door shut.
I didn't slam the door, but it's kind of loud down there, dear.
Oh.
Oh.
You guys could hear the shop vac?
Yes, I could hear the shop vac. I don't know if anyone else could hear the shop vac.
It's not my fault. I'm working on the list you gave.
Well, I already told them about the list. They know all about the list. They think you should have more things on the list, right? Okay, stick with me. He needs to have more things on the list, right? The to-do list. See, I told you. I really all am about the list. Alrighty. So I just made some little marks here. Usually I eyeball it, and it always ends up, my eyeballing ends up being right around the same thing. That was 4 inches wide, and this one is probably, I don't know, let's see. Let me pull the little arm out and see what that is. 4 inches by about 7 1/4. And that is honestly about what it is every time, maybe give or take a 1/4 inch or something. So this is where I will write my list. Now, I am going to bring out some ink because, oopsie, pulled that drawer out a little too far. Bear with me 1 second. Pulling out a little bit of ink and a little bit of ink. And let's see what color we want to do. So this white is pretty stark. I would like to, Carol could totally hear the shop vac. I love that. I mean, I don't really love that, but I love that. That's hilarious. So this guy right here, I'm going to ink the edges. So it will kind of help to bring in, it won't make that white so stark. It will kind of layer a little bit better. It's almost like if I was matting it with a yellow piece of cardstock, it'll just kind of make it blend a little bit more. So when we're looking for yellows, let's see what yellow I have that will be closest to that. These are swatches of all of my Distress Oxide inks. It makes it so much easier to just pull out my swatch book as opposed to go to all my inks and find all of my yellows and pull them out and then see what works the best. Red, orange, yellow. Okay. So I've used my Swatch This Ink stamp set to make all those little guys. So let's see. Squeezed lemonade could work. Mustard seed, a little bit too deep. Fossilized amber, not quite. So I think what I will do, I think I will go with squeezed lemonade. And it's not quite perfect, but I think it's close enough. So to ink the edges, I am grabbing, squeezed lemonade. Let's get the ink. That will help, Lael. Let's get the ink. I'll show you this. Sometimes people are like, how did you find that color so fast? I didn't know what I was going to use ahead of time. I have all 80 of my Distress Oxide inks all stored by color. So Roy G. Biv, the rainbow, red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, violet, and then I get to the browns and the tans and the blacks after that. But they're all on a tray. The trays fit 12. And this is just one of the IKEA, I think it's Kavessel I think that's what it's called. Anyhow, I have 2 of those that are stacked on top of each other, and that's how I store my ink. So it makes it really easy for me to find exactly what I'm looking for. All right, squeeze lemonade. So I'm now going to my, this is how I store my little foam blender. So I'm going to use a foam blender. I pulled out a foam blending tool, but it's got its little Velcro there. I need to add the topper to it. So this is another one of my products. This was Amy's brainchild. Amy's brainchild. I don't know, Amy, it's probably been, you've been working together 4 years maybe. She came to me early on and said, I have this great idea for a product. And she kind of started talking about this, and I'm like, oh my gosh, that's exactly what I need. So you'll find these on the website, but these are a storage case. And with that storage that you're purchasing, you have the storage case. You have 2 sheets for your inks. Each sheet has 20 little squares. And because you have 2 sheets, that little box holds up to 40 of your little foam toppers. So all 80 of my foam toppers are stored in just those 2 storage cases. The nice thing there is it keeps everything sorted. Everything is labeled. So I think we have maybe 10 or more, definitely the most common inks that you find. So Tim Holtz Distress Oxide, Distress Inks, Ranger, Simon Hurley, Gina K, Stamp Market, Stampin' Up, lots of them. But with the kit, you get the box, you get the 2 sheets, you get 40 pre-punched circles so you can do your swatching. And then you get 40 of your little Velcro pieces, and that's what's holding your little guys on there. So let's grab squeezed lemonade. And I will show you, that is what I did in the news list. So you can see my little kind of journaling blocks right there, my list. I inked the edges. And that is a really good example of how inking your edges will really make things pop. Otherwise, I had white grid paper that I would be putting on white, and you would totally lose those. They would just kind of blend into the background. So just doing a little bit of inking really makes things either pop or blend in. So affix that little foam on top of the tool. I've opened my ink, I go in a circular motion like that to pick up some ink, and I just ink the edges. And for the most part, that is about as mixed media as you will find things here, my friends. If you are looking for more mixed media besides inking the edges, well, I use ink to stamp too, but you know, if you're here for mixed media, you're not here for that. But my friend Vicki Booten, that is where you want to go for mixed media. That she does unbelievable freaking things with inks and gouache, and I don't even know the names of some of the things or what they are. I just stare in amazement. But yeah, if you don't follow her, you for sure should. All right, so there, do you see how now that just kind of blends in very nicely? It's not kind of so stark as if we look at it like that, pretty stark, like Tony Stark. Then we go like that, much nicer. So we put this away. So Ranger makes 2 different sizes of the little foam blending tools, the tool and the little foam heads. These are mini, and then there's a tiny. So there are also storage solution for the tiny as well. I use the mini just because I had all the minis done before the tiny ever came out. So I use the mini. All right, so let's look at our endless laughs here. Do you want to know what song is going through my head? Endless Love. I will not sing for you. You don't want Lil to sing for you. So let's look. Oh, we better go down a little bit, because okay. So when I'm working, just like when you guys are working and being creative, there's all kinds of things going through your head, and you're having a conversation, an inside conversation with yourself. Should I do that? Oh no, I don't like that. Oh wait, what if I did this? So I was just having an inside conversation there, but I always try to turn those outside so you can understand my thought process and why I decided to do something or didn't decide to do something. So originally I started here, right? And I like the fact that it is wider than my base, my cardstock, right? But then I moved it up here, and I was thinking, oh, well, that could be kind of fun, couldn't it? Where there's no little white above it. And then I thought that would be fun, but guess what? That would mean I would have to come in and trim this and then ink again. Yeah, no time for that. Not doing that. So we are going to just pop that right there. Now that could go over the top a little bit if we wanted. Since we're going over the top, yeah, I like that. We're going over the top there and over the sides there. Okay. So the things that are on my things that make me laugh list, I have 5. So I am going to use a number stamp. I'm going to use a number stamp. I wrote things that make me laugh below that. The number stamp I am using is Allison Numbers. Let me just find it. It is a, oh, here we go. Oh, sorry, it's called By the Numbers Allison. By the Numbers Allison. So all of my stamps I store in my stamp storage sleeves. When you get your stamps, they don't look like that, right? They look like, well, do I have one in a package here? They come in something like that, right? You get a little bag and it's got your little backer. That's not how I store my stamps. And this is how I store my stamps. All of my Lail by Mail stamps, even my personal stamps, like all my Carrie Bradfords. Literally every single one of my stamps is stored this way. Makes it all nice and kind of neat and consistent. So what I do is I take it out of the bag. Either I get rid of the backer, or sometimes I will cut the backer down and then put the backer in with the stamp in the stamp sleeve, or I will trim a white piece of cardstock and put it there. That white piece of cardstock or the backer is there for me personally for a very important reason. Your stamps have plastic on them, right? The front sheet is plastic and the back sheet is plastic. When you put plastic in plastic, sometimes the plastic sticks and it makes it a little bit hard to get the stamps out. So that white cardstock is always stored in the back, so I know what stamp it is. When I'm ready to use the stamp, I pull it from the back, I put it from the front. That tends to break that stickiness, right, of the plastic on plastic, and then that pulls right out. All right, so those come in 4 sizes. 6x8, 5x7, 4x6, and 3x4. And it kind of comes in 6 sizes, but not really. This is how they come in 6 sizes. That is a 3x3 stamp. I don't do 3x3 stamp storage sleeves, but I do 3x4. So I put a 3x3 and a 3x4 and cut the top off. Same thing for the 4x4s. That is a 4x4 stamp. I don't make 4x4 stamp storage sleeves. I make 4x6, cut off the top. So that will, those 4 sizes, 6x8, 5x7, 4x6, 3x4, will solve or be a storage solution for probably 90% of your stamps. All right, so Allison by the Numbers. My dear friend Allison, who I've known, oh my gosh, 25 years maybe. We met at a scrapbook store. Probably a year ago, came to me and said, Lael, have you ever thought about doing a stamp that had the number, but then also the number written around it, in it somewhere? She said, I do that a lot on my list, but I have to do it twice. I have to like stamp it and then write the number, or then stamp it and then stamp the word out next to it. And I thought about it and said, I like that idea. So By the Numbers Allison. So this is going to be, ooh, hold on. Will we be able to fit? Let's see. I said I have 5 things on my list. Maybe I'm not as laughy as I think I am. Maybe I only have 4. Unless well, I guess it doesn't, well, I better figure this out now, right? I think there's only going to be 4. Because that's what's going to fit. Now, if you're like, but Lael, I have a lot of things that made me laugh. I have 10 things on my list, so what should I do? And I say, well, you could do a 2-page list where you have, your things over here and your things over here. Or you could use something like, to be careful here, because I got to pull this out because I don't want you to see what's next to it. That guy is By the Numbers 1. And that would give you, I could do that if I had 10 things that make me laugh. I could use that and do my 10 things there. Or get smaller number stamps. Oh, speaking of smaller number stamps, do you want to see one of the stamps coming out in July? How about that? This, Poe Numbers. Poe Numbers is a new stamp set coming out July 15th. It's kind of cool. It has some special features. Poe Numbers. Well, Poe Alpha. There are 2 different Poe Alpha stamp sets right now. These are currently stamp sets that are around. Poe Alpha large lowercase and Poe Alpha. Poe Alpha large letters. Poe Alpha has small and medium. But you may notice on those stamps, there are no numbers. So mid-July, you will see Poe Numbers. Poe Numbers has 1, 2, 3 sizes of numbers that match those 1, 2, 3 sizes of Poe Alphas. This is the bonus feature. You may notice here that there are, now again, these aren't not released yet. They're releasing mid-July, July 15th, not mid-July, July 15th. Do you see some multiples of a number on there? Like 2 2s in the large, 2 2s in the medium, 2 2s in the small. Well, if you were stamping dates, oftentimes you want 2 2s because we're in 2020 decade, right? So you have multiple 2s. But you say, well, hold on, Lael, I'm doing a quick little look there. I see you have 2 2s, that's great, but dummy, you forgot the 9. And I say, oh no, I've got you covered. Because the 6, the 9 is the 6 turned upside down. It's the exact same one. So when we can try to be smart like that, and there's no reason for us to give you a 6 and a 9 when it's the same exact one, we can use the space to give you 2 of the same number. Just makes it a little bit easier. And of course, you can stamp your 2025 with only 1 2. You just have to stamp it and then come back and stamp the other 2. That's one of the new stamps coming out. Now you've seen 1 of 6. 1 of 6. There's one that I am so excited for, I can't even tell you. And I really can't even tell you because I'm not going to tell you. All right. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now let's look and see what color we want to stamp those. I think we need to pull in some of this color palette down in this corner. Don't you think? We have the blue, we have the yellow, we need kind of this quadrant. So let's look. Let's grab this again and let's go to the pinks and the reds and see what we might find to work with. Starting really light, definitely not Tattered Rose. Sponge Sugar, too light. Kitsch Flamingo, could be. Picked Raspberry, so Picked Raspberry is basically a much heavier pigmented pink. Same kind of tone, but a much heavier pink. Picked Raspberry. Victorian Velvet, no. Saltwater Taffy, kind of peachy, Abandoned Coral. Worn Lipstick. And then we start getting a little bit too red, right? Then we're into the reds. So let's see. Okay, we need to be thinking about this because our numbers are going to be right here. Right against that. I don't know, maybe we need to be looking at a red instead since our numbers will be right there. Not Candied Apple, not Barn Door. We need something with a little bit more blue in it. Festive Berries, maybe. Lumberjack Plaid, I think is getting too dark, and Fired Brick. What if we did Festive Berries? And that, I think Festive Berries will look nice there. Let's do it. Festive Berries. So, did you guys see the announcement earlier this week? Ranger and 49 and Market have a kind of product collaboration that they have announced. They haven't announced what it is yet, but they just announced it. Some very, I'm sure, fun things coming, right? So, can't wait, but just know whatever it is, I'll have it. You know I'll have it, of course. Oh, speaking of 49 to Market, just last night we added the 2 new 49 to Market collections, Beach Vibes and Nature's Haven. Is that what it is? I can't remember. Nature's Haven? I don't remember. Whatever it is, the 2 new 49 and Market collections are now live on the website, so you can see them the very top of the What's New page on the website. All right, so we need some stamping things now. Need a stamping block. Perfect. And I need my little tester notebook and my stamp chamois. So I have used these stamps before. These stamps have already been primed. They've already been conditioned. I don't need to do that. And if you're like, whoa, wait a minute. Lil, what are you talking about? Priming, conditioning? I'm so confused. Amy, will you link a link to the free class here on YouTube where I talk to you and show you some different ways to prime or condition your stamps before you start using them for the first time. It's important that you do. You will get a much better, and this isn't just my stamps. This is really at least any photopolymer stamps that you're using. I only use photopolymer, so I don't know if it's the case with your red rubber or your acrylic, but you definitely want to prime your stamps before you start using them. And I show you a couple of different ways to do that. All right, so you notice I brought in my little testing notebook, which is funny, by the way.
I need your help 1 second.
Yeah. Okay, friends, hang on 1
I
second.
need help for the door.
I know. Okay, hold on. Hold on. Hold on, friends. Okay. Oh, perfect timing. You bring all those yummy boxes in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Well, that's funny. Nick, sorry. He came up with his hands full of sheetrock. He's like, I need you to open the door. And when we opened the door, there were 5 big boxes of product on the front porch. 5 big ones. Okay. Speaking of Allison, Allison sent me this. Squirrel Lives Matter. Isn't that so fun? Okay, so what I've done, my stamp is ready to go. I have selected a stamping block that is right sized for my stamp. I have lots of different stamping blocks, right? I could have used this jumbo guy, right? I could have used that jumbo guy for my stamp. It totally would have worked. But I find if my stamp block is much larger than my stamp, it makes things a little bit trickier to stamp. So I'm a firm believer in right sizing your stamping block to your stamp. So try to find a stamping block in your stash that is as close to possible without going over, just like the Price is Right. Your bid has to be as close as it can without going over. So your stamping block as close in size as it is to your stamp makes it so much easier to handle that way. That one is my 1.625 little stamping block. I use that a lot. All right, so now I'm going to test it. I will always test, 97.4% of the time, let's say. I will always test first. I am a big believer in testing before I commit. And there's a couple of reasons. Number 1, I can test color. Is that the color that I want to use, right? Is that going to go well there? I don't know. I'm just going to do it anyway. It's not perfect, but it is close enough. That's fine. So I'm testing the color. The next thing I'm doing is I'm testing to make sure there's no maybe little lint or fur or cat or a hair or something on there, because if there's anything on that stamp, it will prevent the ink from stamping in that area. All right. Sometimes I will also test if it's a stamp I haven't used before. I will test to make sure I know how much pressure I need to apply. Some stamps you need to apply more pressure than others. If it's a really thin, narrow, small stamp, maybe a word strip or something like that, you don't want to press too hard. If you press too hard, it is going to flatten out the stamp, and then things will look kind of blurry. All right. You'll notice there, I stamped a couple different times. The first one was a little blotchy, second one better, third one looks good. So I am happy with the way that looks. I'm going to go in again and ink that up really well and pop that one right there. We need it to be a little bit higher in order for all my numbers to fit, right? There we go. Number 1, things that make me laugh. And while I have my ink out and all this, I am going to just stamp all 4 numbers, and then I will make my list. Clean it off right away. I think that's very important. I always say that's like your dishes after dinner. It's much easier to wash your dishes, whether you wash them or dishwash them, whatever you do, to take care of them right away than leave them in the sink overnight. You leave them in the sink overnight, it becomes a little bit harder to get the food off the next day. So you clean your stamps right away. The ink comes off very easily. If you wait until you're ready to use it the next time, you may need to use a little bit of elbow grease to get it off. I mean, don't really use any grease. You just need to, you know, press a little bit harder. I mean, clean a little bit harder. We don't want to add grease to our, stamps, right? But speaking of grease in your stamps, and it's not grease. One of the things I talk about when I talk about priming your stamps, I talk about the reason why and the way that photopolymer stamps are made. There's a little bit of residue on your stamp that you may not know is there. You can't see it. It's part of the manufacturing process. So if you prime your stamps before you use them, you will find that, I think you like the way your stamped impression looks a little better. So, you know what's funny? I have not used these stamps before. I can tell what I've been doing is I stamped a couple of times. I can tell that, do you see on my 3? Do you see how that's kind of splotchy? That is because I haven't conditioned the stamp set yet. So what's happening there where the ink is kind of not adhering in little splotchy areas, that is because there is some of that residue that is preventing the ink from sticking. So let me clean that one really well. And I'm going to dry. Drying is an important part of your process before you re-ink. I use distress oxides. Your distress oxides are water reactive. So if you do not dry right away and you just go ahead and ink again, if there's any kind of moisture on your stamp, it may interact with that, the properties of that ink and do something you don't want it to do. Or maybe you're not aware that it's going to do that. But do you see the difference in my top 3 where it's a little splotchy and now that 3 looks nice and solid? All right. And that may not be something that you ever knew or were aware of. Nobody ever told me that. I figured that, oh Lord. I think Nick has the saws all out. Man. So here's the deal, friends. I mean, come on. Can we just have like a woman-to-woman talk here really quickly? Nick has a long list of things to do today. And for whatever reason, he decides that the one that he wants to work on while I'm filming is the one that requires a shop vac and a Sawzall. And I can't complain though, can I, right? Gotta just, it's between us. It's our little secret. But really? Oh my gosh. Honey, seriously. That's like man brain. But again, I'm not complaining. I mean, okay, I guess I really was. I was complaining, but you know, we're friends, right? I can't complain exactly. I can't complain. We're all friends here. I'm just, you know, sharing my dumbfoundedness. Ay, 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 ay. It's all good. It's all good. You know, and, okay. I started inking that right off. I did not yet condition that. So I'm kind of skipping a step here. I'm just cleaning it off really well and then drying it. I dry with the microfiber towel because I don't want to transfer any lint. If you use a baby wipe, sometimes you will definitely, well, it depends on the baby wipe. All baby wipes are not created equal. Sometimes they will transfer a lot of lint, little fibers onto your stamps, and it's just, then you have to clean all those off, and yeah. Anyhow, so I'm cleaning with the stamp chamois. In fact, I need to close that. Don't want the air to get to it or it'll dry out. I would like that to be nice and wet, moist while I'm working today. So I don't have to go re-wet it. All right. There we go. Endless laugh. Things that make me laugh. All right, done with our stamping. So that is a very fun number set. is Allison. By the numbers, Allison. Okay, whoo! It's getting hot in here. All right, let's get these put away, and then we can go, and you can actually use these. You could do double-digit numbers, the 1 and the 2. I mean, obviously, and they would just say 1, 2, which would be 12, or, you know. All right, get these put away, and let's get ready for our list. I've been working on this off the page. Just sometimes if I'm stamping, it's a little bit easier to work with it off the page. Oh, I love it. That's fun, isn't it? Very nice and fun and bright. All right, well, we do need to come in with our little outlining because it has to happen. So I outline everything I do. Everything. And I just use my little Sharpie, and that's what I always do for my list too when I'm writing on my list. My little Sharpie. It just kind of frames things a little bit. All right, there we go. And then when we pop that down, woo, it pops. And it's nice because we have that black in the title, so it all is going to kind of gel together here. All right, so the things on my list, the things that make me laugh. So one is getting cut. Let's cut that one. Giggling babies. Babies that laugh make me laugh. They just got cut from my list. Sorry, babies. Because I only have room for 4 and I had 5 things on my list. So the first one is Reggie. Reggie. That darn cat. Even though he wakes me up at night, he has me laughing all day. Now, that part I didn't have already figured out on my list. I didn't know what I was going to say. I just knew that over here, Reggie is on my list. So that I just kind of ad-lib. If ad-libbing and writing like that makes you a little bit nervous, then write out what you think you want to say ahead of time. Sometimes those things end very abruptly for me because I run out of room. Actually, we need a little bit more. I'm going to just do a little double underline there. Just to kind of separate my title, things that make me laugh from that. I know there's one more thing we'll do to that that'll help that stand out a little bit more. All right, number two. Dancing with Nick. So this is funny. Dancing with Nick. I will write it, then I will tell you. Ever since we started I was going to say dancing. Dating. Ever since we started dating, it's one of my favorite things to do and always makes me smile. I don't know what it is, and we don't go dancing a lot. When we first started dating, we had our 30th wedding anniversary this May. So a long time ago, we would go country western dancing. We'd go swing dancing. And it would just, I don't know, I would be laughing the whole time. But not like laughing at him, not laughing at me, just laughing because it was so much fun. At one point, midway through the pandemic, when things kind of started to open up again before they started closing again, we took some private-ish dance lessons with maybe like 5 other couples in a really big ballroom, so everything was really spread out, and learned a little bit more how to do that type of dancing. So it's a little bit more controlled, where you're not like flinging and your arms out coming out of your sockets. So usually when we're on vacation, if we're somewhere and there's music playing, we'll get up and we'll kind of do that kind of dancing. But that never fails to put a smile on my face. It's just so much fun. I love it. All right, next one. This is a funny one. Nate Bargatze. Yes, the comedian. His, I don't know if this is the right term, so I don't know. His deadpan demeanor and his sense of humor are right up my alley. Do you guys know him? He does, he is not on Saturday Night Live. He's not a cast member of Saturday Night Live, but he appears on there often. He tours. You find a lot of his specials on Netflix and things like that. He is so freaking funny. I can't even, he's got so many funny skits. If you haven't seen any of them, go to YouTube. Well, but don't leave me now. Come back later. Do it later. There's one that he does. He's George Washington, and he's talking about the names of things. It is so funny. Like he's standing on a boat, and he's talking to, I don't know, they're getting ready to go into battle or something, and he's talking how things are different in America than in England, and this is way back in George Washington day, and he's got some of his soldiers on the boat with him. And he's talking about how things are called different things in the U.S. versus in England. And he's talking about animals and how when they're living, they're called one thing, but when they're dead, they're called something else. So he's like, well, yeah, the cows. Yeah. And they're like, oh, yeah, cow. Well, when it's alive, it's called a cow. But when it's dead, it's called beef. And they're like, oh. And he goes through, it's just, I can't, clearly I'm not him, but if you need a good laugh, and everything he does is totally clean. It's not, he doesn't swear. Yes, he's on Saturday Night Live as George Washington, Merrily. It is the best one. It is so good. DW, is the spiral notebook on the website for purchase? I would love something like that to keep my thoughts and lists organized. It is. DW, you will see it in the description box of the video. There is a link called What I'm Using, and you will see it right there up at the top once you click that link. Amy, if you are still here. Oh, good. You found it. Okay. Awesome. All right. Last one. This is another funny one. Roller coasters. Now, I don't often ride roller coasters anymore. Roller coasters. Ever since I was a kid. Call it nervous laughter, if you will. But I'm laughing the entire way. All right. So that's a lot of writing. It is a lot of black, right? We put it there, super cute, but it's a lot of writing. So, and I said I was going to do something to that title to help it stand out a little bit. So what I am going to do, I am going to grab some colored pencils. I'm going to look for one that is kind of that same minty color. I have swatched all of my colored pencils. Now, Amy before was talking about how I'm one of the most organized crafters that I think she said she's ever seen. But here's the deal. I have to be, because if I'm doing this and I'm like, oh, I want squeezed lemonade, and then I'm trying to sort through everything, trying to find that ink, you guys would not be here for long. But same thing with this. But this also, having things swatched like this, both my inks and this, it's not just for you guys. It helps me so much, even when I'm doing my personal crafting, because I like colored pencils. I have a lot of colored pencils. And so if I had to pull out every single one of my packages of colored pencils to try to find a color that would go well with that, I wouldn't do it, right? I'd be like, oh my gosh, because sometimes the barrel of the colored pencil really looks nothing like what the color looks like, right? At all. So let's see. I don't know. We might find something. Salvaged patina. That may work. Ooh, maybe over here. That's an interesting blue. It's a beautiful blue, but it's not one that we're seeing a lot of. Maybe this seafoam. So seafoam, if I do it really light, or maybe it's the teal. Okay, brand is Studio Series. So I come over here to all my colored pencils, and I had to turn my back to for a second, so bear with me. There we go. Studio Series, and it is teal. So let's find that baby. Now, I used a stamp set to do that. You don't have to get all fancy, but if you were, here we go, teal. If I wanted to swatch these and I didn't have or didn't want to use a stamp set, I would do something like this. I use a Traveler's Notebook insert for that. I would take my Traveler's Notebook insert and I would probably do something like this. And then I'd write teal. And then I'd come to the next color, next color, next color. But somewhere in the list of colors, I would name the package, or else I'd be looking for that teal forever. All right, so let's take a look. That was kind of, if I go pretty light, it's not perfect, but I think it will be okay. So this is what I want to do. I'd like for this to stand out. So I am basically going to write over my letters with that teal. And once I'm done, I'll bring it up to the camera and you can see what it looks like. So maybe you don't want to invest in a lot of different colored markers. Colored pencils, pretty inexpensive. Now, I don't use them for watercoloring, so I don't have like nice fancy ones. But that would be a way that you could still get a lot of color into your writing without having different colored pens. All right, so it just kind of softens that a little bit. Then I think the other thing I might want to do is this. What if I just do a little box around each of these? And then I can we'll outline that so it's a little bit darker when I outline it, and then just color it in. So if you're doing a lot of writing and you want something in particular to stand out, that is a really easy way to do that. That you see me do in my, now I'm thinking, well really I'm thinking, where is it? You see me do that in my, hold please. That's not it. That's not it, that's not it. Okay, let me just look really quickly. I'm just put that right there so you know I'm still here. I'm just in the other part of the room looking for one of my traveler's notebooks, which would be, where is that? Oh, maybe it's the travel one. That would make sense, wouldn't it? Where? Okay, Lael. Why isn't that where it should be? Oh, if you guys could see the piles of things in this room, you'd be like, oh, that explains why you can't find it, dear Lael. Because there's things everywhere. Okay, I'm going to look for one more second, and if I can't find it, then too bad, so sad. Oh, here it is. Okay. See, it's organized, it's put away. It's just put away in a little bit of a different place. Okay, here we go. So that is also what you see me do. Oh, it's not in that one. Freaking A. Okay, never mind. Noise courtesy of Nick. Nick, seriously, drilling down there now. All right, well, I don't know where it is, so anyhow, I'll just keep showing you what I'm doing now. When I travel and I'm on a trip and I am taking minimal supplies with me and I am pre-stamped, and at the end of each day, I am writing on the trip kind of what happened that day, I do this. This is how I add in color without having to bring a lot of supplies with me. It's just by using my little colored pencil. All right, there we go. Okay, so now that part of the list is done. Oh, golly, Nick. Okay, where's the lid? Oh, here we go. Okay. Now we need to play on the other side with the sun rays. We can go ahead and adhere this here now. Okay. Put that guy right there. If you missed me at the beginning, I said I was taking my inspiration from I know you guys can hear the drilling. Yeah. From this list that we did in May of 2023, where I had sun rays. I used a stencil for that, and then used clear word stickers from Pretty Little Studio in some of those rays. So that is exactly what I'm going to do here. All right. Now, that's pretty decorative, right? I could leave that at it as is. I could do something like this, fun never stops, somewhere on there. I could do something like this, that big fun on there. But I'm going to use some clear letter or some clear word stickers. Here we go. Guys, I am so sorry. Excuse Nick, I know, right? Who needs background music when you have Nick and his to-do list, right? Yeah, again, I can't complain. Really can't complain. Okay, so let's look. We have some things that would work. Okay, moments together could work because with Nick. I have some things in here. Did I have another sheet of those? Hold on. I want to say I had another sheet of those. Let me just look. Whoopsie. It's between Nick and I. We're making all kinds of noise, aren't we? That's another one. I thought I had some. For some reason, I thought I had some that were more black. I must not have. I probably got confused then once I saw those other ones. Okay. All right. Let's put this back. Let's see what we have. These are clear stickers. So if I did good times, we could do endless laughs over here too. We could do good times. So these are also, everything I'm using is from the Love is Kind collection. Now, really what I want though are the, be careful. Be careful there, Leo. I would like black ones. All right, we're just going to do this. We're going to put good times right there. And then we will put fun. Because they're clear, it looks like they're just printed on the paper, right? We'll put fun in the center. Good times fun. I wish I had more just black, but I don't, so that's fine. We did one there. Let's put another one here. Maybe we put endless laughs again. favorite, but my favorite would blend in too well, or too much there. Maybe favorite goes here. Good Times, favorite. So I'm kind of in this like pink color, but if I keep going down, I'm doing every other one, 1, 1, 1. If I keep using a pink, then we, you guys, I am so sorry. Hopefully it's done soon. He is repairing drywall in a closet downstairs that got some water damage from the hose connection outside the house. Yes. Yeah. Oh, Nikki. All right, what else do we want to do here? You know, not that I'm getting distracted at all by the drilling or the sawzall or the jump back. Gosh. You know what I'm going to do? Later, I'm going to play this to him and be like, so honey, just listen to this. Listen to how funny this was. Oh yeah, that works. So definitely subtle, definitely more subtle than my inspiration, right? But my inspiration was just chalked, you know, kind of, not chalked, but it was the Distress Oxide and then black on top, but still super cute. All right, Good Times favorite, You and Me. This one. What else would we like to do? Or if we keep in the pink, then it might, I don't know. If we keep in the pink, it might not work. Let me try something here. If I try to peel that off, can I peel it off? Very carefully, I'm peeling that off because I think I would like to write this one, this Cheers one. Then that will add a little bit more black. Now, I could, if I don't really like the To Us on there, I'm just going to, Cheers works, right? Cheers. We'll pop this one in the middle, like that. And then You and Me, maybe right here. All right, and then we have one more. All right, so what's it going to be? What is it going to be? It needs to be another color and not, I think we'll probably just go with love, right? Because that works. Things that make me laugh. I like to laugh. I love to laugh. Whoopsie. And I love Reggie, and I love Nick, and I love no, I don't love roller coasters anymore. I used to really like roller coasters, but not really anymore. All right, there we go. There is our things that make me laugh list. I had pulled out the Sewn with Love clear stickers. So there are 2 versions of these. I think maybe my other one is downstairs, the colored ones. So I was thinking that I might, oh, okay, never mind. I think I found something that I'm going to do instead. Let's see if we can make this fit in here. These are the Friend Dictionary clear stickers. Laughter, sometimes seen as contagious, and the laughter of one person can itself provoke laughter from others as a positive feedback. So where could this go? Let's see. Because what I was thinking is I was just going to do a little stitch down there along the bottom, but I don't think that, actually, let's look. We probably don't have enough room for this. Well, if I put it here, it is very, it's going to be very, we're just going to do it. There we go. All right. And now I need to date it. So to date this, I am going to write it where? We'll just write it here. June 2025. All right, there we go. So there's our first list. Things that make me laugh. Using Allison by the numbers Allison, and Love is kind. Alrighty, so that is our first list. Our next one will be a pretty quick one. So I'm going to put all of these things away. While I'm putting all these things away, we're going to do a live giveaway. We are going to do a live giveaway for a new set, not the one I've been using, but a new set of By the Numbers Allison. By the Numbers Allison stamp set. All right, so the way that you participate in a live giveaway is through the chat. Let me just write this down. Is through the chat. So you chat away while I'm putting things away. And then when I'm done putting things away and we're ready to start our new list, I will stop. I will roll my finger up in the chat wherever it stops, my finger, that is the person that wins. So if you would like to chat away. Now, if you leave a comment from me in there, I will not see it. So if you have a question or a comment that you want me to see, it is best to wait to do that until after this little live giveaway is over, because it goes pretty fast and furious. All right, we have 2 more lists. Our next list is one that we try to do once a month. I think I forgot to do it in May, so that's okay. It is called What a Day. So What a Day is very similar to, well, similar in nature in that they are both time capsules. What a Day is a list where you are, or where I am, just making a list of what I did. I pick a day and I make a list of what I did that day. Very much a time capsule, and that changes from day to day, week to month, week to week, month to month, year to year. If I had been making a list like that when I was a new mom, I guarantee you my What a Day list would be very different than it is now as an empty nester. Likewise, when I was in high school or when I was in college or when I was a working professional, I'm still a working professional, but different, right? My What a Day list would be very different. So it's just one of those time capsule lists. So I think it's kind of fun to do every once in a while. I did something like this when Jack, our oldest, was a teeny tiny baby. Because after he was our first, and so I had, read somewhere that you should, it helps you to keep track of what the baby's doing every day and when they're eating and when you're changing their diaper and all of those things. So I was making lists like that 28 years ago. And then when I went back to work, after 3 months with Jack, Lily, who was our nanny for 15 years, who then I hired back 3 years ago to work for me again, I would have a list for her every day. So she would write down every day all of those things so that at the end of the day when I came home and when Nick came home, we knew what kind of the baby had done that day. So what a day. What a day, I'm actually going to go back into this notebook or this traveler's insert. But before I do that, we're doing the giveaway. Giveaway is stopping at Karen Haynes. Karen, you win By the Numbers. Congratulations, Karen, please send an email to laylebymail@gmail.com. In the subject line of that email, please put winner By the Numbers Allison and your address in the body of the email, and we will get your prize shipped this week. Yay! Okay. All right. What a day. So let me look and actually, it's been a while. Here we go. So here's an example of a what a day. This is actually more of a non-traditional what a day that I do. Usually a what a day is 1 page and it just has a list of things that I did. On this one, Nick and I were camping in Goblin Valley in southern Utah. And so usually my what a days, I try to have them be just generic, normal, everyday type of day. because it tells a little bit of a different story. But every once in a while, it's kind of fun to do a different day when maybe you're out of town or something like that, an abnormal day. So I use the What a Day stamp set and I make my little list. Not often do I do photos, but that's what we're going to do. So pulled out the What a Day stamp set. We need to be back in this insert because last week we did the currently list. And my currently list was a one-page list. A lot of times when I do one-page lists, you guys tell me I don't like to do a one-page list because I don't like my list on the other side to not match. I like things to coordinate. So what could I do? So a lot of times we talk about if you only have content for what page, what could you do over here? Now, sometimes we can put a little quote on there or do a little bit more of a decoration and just leave it like this. But in this case, I thought, you know what, this would be a great place for a right side of my list, right? So this is currently, this one is What a Day. I need some of my white cardstock again. Hello, Rose Oak One. Hello, hello. Wanda, I fell asleep. Did I miss a giveaway? You did. You did, but that's okay. Hi, Kylie. Nice to see you. Oh, it's so fun to see you here. Karen, not a Karen, right? Karen, oh, I missed that. Karen asked that I please choose someone else. All right, I will do that. Thank you, Karen. I will do that. So let's go back up and we're stopping at Carrie Meredith. Carrie Meredith. Carrie. There you go. Congratulations, Carrie. So thank you, Karen, for passing along that giveaway. And Carrie, you are the lucky recipient of Karen's Pay It Forward. Carrie, same thing. Shoot me an email, lailbymail@gmail.com. In the subject line, please put winner by the numbers Allison, and then your address in the body of the email, and we will get your prize shipped. Yay! Thank you, Karen, and congratulations, Carrie. All right. Carrie, I'm Kylie. Oh my gosh. Karen, Kylie, Carrie, there's lots of K's today. It's fun to see you here, Kylie, because it has been a while. All right. Here we go. I pulled out my white cardstock, right? Because we already know I am going to do this. I actually will probably make this list maybe a little bit more narrow just because I would like to see a few of the butterflies. We're going to end up losing a few butterflies. I think we're back onto the shop vac again. Welcome to How I Built This, or This Old House, but it's not an old house. Yeah, you didn't know you were coming to a HGTV show today, did you? That's the one I least like when they're like repairing the old houses. That's when I turn the channel. This Old House. Yeah. All right, shop vacs and sawzalls and drilling. Oh my. Okay. Glad you guys made it safely. Kylie, hanging your head in shame? No, absolutely not. You guys know it's always fun to have you. There's no shame in whether you're here or not, right? I just keep track of who's here and who isn't. No, just kidding. I would not know. I would not know. All right. I'm just tickled that someone's here, right? Because, and I say this often, if you weren't here, I would not be playing. This is when your business is product and design and projects and all that, you don't often just play for the sake of playing. That is what I do here. So I always thank you guys profusely for coming because I would not be playing if it wasn't for you guys being here. All right, so I don't think I want to use the same green. That green Lucky Clover was beautiful with this. Products I used here also from the spring summer season pass, the May kind of portion of the spring summer season pass. What I would really like, this kind of blue, I don't know, we'll see. There's a blue like that. No, that's not it. Uncharted Mariner. I mean, could we fake it? Not really, Lil. It's just not really it. Not really it. I'm afraid it would look odd. So let's go to our pinks and oranges. Yeah, that Uncharted Mariner is a beautiful color. Everything else is too blue. That's just kind of a nice blue, has some green in it. All right, let's go to, I think we probably better go to a pink. Let's go to our pinks. Or, I mean, an orange would work as well. Maybe we'll start orange and see where we head. No. Spiced marmalade. Ooh, let's do spiced marmalade. I like it. So I will ink the edges with spiced marmalade, and I will do my stamping with spiced marmalade. And here's the deal. You will notice the inked edges a lot more on this than you will probably like the yellow one we did. It will, I think, really help things just because it's so, this is so, maybe I'll ink, okay, let's do this. I'll ink with spiced marmalade and I'll stamp with the pink. The pink is really calling out to us. It's just really going to soften that quite a bit. Oh, spiced marmalade we need. Okay, what are you guys doing today? What is on your to-do list today? Do you have a to-do list? Or are you just enjoying a lovely summer Saturday and crafting and hanging out and doing something for you? That's what I'm doing. I'm crafting and I'm hanging out and I'm doing something for me. I'm playing. Right? I'm documenting. I'm telling my story. I'm telling my story in a super easy and approachable way. I do not have to be Ernest Hemingway when I am writing a list. Sometimes we are afraid to write because we feel like we have to be Ernest Hemingway. Doesn't that look so much better? It just, look at that difference. It just makes such a difference. Just that little tiny bit of ink. Sometimes we feel like we have to be Ernest Hemingway, and that stops us from writing or documenting, right? Doing something like this. But making a list, oh my gosh, we've been making lists our whole life. Spelling list, grocery list, to-do list. So this is, I think, a natural progression, and now we're just documenting ourselves, but via a list. Okay, so let's look at our pink. Pink. We need a light one. Kitsch Flamingo? I think we could make Kitsch Flamingo work. Spun sugar is a little bit harder to see. And I know that with the stamp set, we have some pretty thin letters there. I probably need to go with something that is just a little bit brighter. So we'll go with Kitsch Flamingo. Orange and pink, I love that color combination. So spiced marmalade and Kitsch Flamingo. All right, let's see what you guys are doing. Kylie, today's list. Mom's doing laundry. 4 loads done so far. Cleaning, planting stuff, being assistant to my friend, playing handyman. That sounds like a very full day. Amy said, heading out later to have staycation with my girlfriends, going to have fun by the pool and trying not to get up to too much mischief. Oh, that sounds fun. With Rhonda and Joni. Amy, yes, or different girlfriends? If it's Rhonda and Joni, please tell them I said hello. Pam is enjoying every moment of this listing session, working along with you and hanging with the squirrels. Oh, I love it. I love it. Carol's cleaning, bathrooms, vacuuming, running errands, just having lunch, and then she's going to craft. Got my list written out, just need to put them in my traveler's notebook. Oh, lovely. Ms. L's enjoying hanging out, coloring, deco planning, I like it. Resting. Louisa's making a graduation lei. Those are freaking amazing. Anytime I see those, it's like, wow, they're like works of art. Jackie, I'm so sorry. Jackie tore her meniscus. She's laying here watching you. Jackie, I can relate. I have done that. That is not a pleasant injury. I mean, most injuries are not pleasant, am I right? But that one, they say that is one of the most painfuls. You tear your meniscus in your knee. And it's kind of it's a tricky one because you can be walking along and it's fine. They say it's like a hangnail. It's like a really bad hangnail, but in your knee. And so sometimes you have a hangnail and it's fine. And other times you hit that hangnail, meniscus, and it like drops you to your knees. So Jackie, I hope you are on the mend. I hope you're feeling better at some point soon. Are you planning surgery? All right, so this is what, when we do it, it looks like. So this is for June. I'm going to grab June. Oh, let's grab this whole thing. My little cheap acrylic frame there, just to put my stamps on, June. And the date I did it for is for the 25th. So this What a Day stamp set has all of your months. It has all of your numbers. It has your, I don't know what they call it after the numbers, these, THRD, NDST. I'd like to know what those are called. You have your days of the week right there. You have some word strip stickers. You have a little rating scale, and then you have some handwritten words. So you can kind of, rate your day. Was it a good day? Was it a bad day? So this for me was the 25th. June 25th. I need my little TH. What part of the English language is that? Waiting to hear on the MRI. Oh, Jackie, you know what? I hope that, yeah, it's okay. I hope it's okay. And that you're on the mend soon. The surgery's not bad. I had it. Sam had it. No, Sam had it when he was in high school. When he was playing, he tore up playing lacrosse. He went to the same knee surgeon that I went to. And literally the week later, Sam is sprinting down the lacrosse field again, which now granted, he was 16 at the time. And when I did mine, I was 42 maybe. I did mine at CrossFit doing box jumps on a 24-inch box. So, and I did not bounce back as quickly as he did, but you bounce back pretty quick. I hope. All right, so we're back here. I just wanted to see, you know what? I'm just going to do this. Let me do this because I keep wanting to refer to that. So let's go here. I'm pulling out the idea book. What a Day, page 15. So now I can see the What a Days. And I pretty much do them pretty similar. Set them up pretty similarly, but that will help me remember if I put that right there off to the side. Whoopsie. Do that. Okay. So we start out with, I keep putting this away. I'm going to work on this guy off the page because it'll be much easier to work with off the page and then put it back. But I should figure out, are there some little things I'd like to use here? Maybe we'll use this blue circle. Maybe we'll layer. Oh, but I don't know. I was thinking maybe we just do this up here. We layer a couple of these guys down here like that. And then we put another little butterfly over here. Don't have to add a lot, right? We don't have to add a lot. So now, 2 separate lists, but everything kind of coordinates together because I'm using a product that was designed to go together, right? All right, I'm going to grab my highlighter tape. So my highlighter tape, I like where this guy is sitting right now. I'm going to tape those two together. And I like where those two are placed. I'm going to tape those two together. So I'm using highlighter tape to do that. Highlighter tape. Highlighter tape is a removable alternative to permanent highlighter pens. Yeah. The way that we use it, it basically is removable, repositionable. Once we get our die cuts to a place where we like them together, then we put that tape on temporarily. It turns our 2 or 3 or 5 or 10 or however many there are die cuts into one. And it makes it really easy for us to place exactly where we have them. So maybe you've got a nice layer of die cuts. Maybe you have 3 or 5 pieces or something like that. And you get them all laid out exactly where you want them to be. And then you go, how did I do that? And then you go, well, shoot. Ooh, I better wait on that guy. I'm going to wait on that guy. Anyhow, you get your 5 or 3 or however many die cuts. You get them all layered how you want them to be. And then you go, shoot. Now I've got to pick each one of those back up again in order to place them with my adhesive, and they'll never look like they did. You can use highlighter tape to tape them together, turn them into one piece as opposed to multiples. It's removable. It's reusable. So removable is nice because it is not going to peel up any of your pattern. Sometimes if you use washi, it will peel up your pattern or peel up your pattern paper. All right, so I think I'm just going to go ahead and put this in now. Like so. And then we have our little friend here. Oopsie. As I tried to, oh yeah, it has adhesive on the back of it. I just glued it to my desk. That's why when I went to move it, one piece came off. Oh, I can't do that yet. That's right, Lil. I can't do that yet because I need to do this part first. So June, if June goes right here, and then my little day of the week goes here. We'll still have room for that. Okay, I need a couple of different stamping blocks because remember, I like to right size my stamping block to my stamps. Much easier to work with when I have the right size stamping blocks. I need one more. I'm just digging around here. Where is, I was stamping earlier. There is one I'm not seeing here. What did I do with it? Did I not put it away? All right, well, I don't know what I did with it. So I need one. Well, it's going to have to be that one. That is not going to make life fun when I do that. I'll have to see if I can find what I did with the other one. All right, starting with June. So that will fit right in that little guy. That is a set of 2. They're little cylinders for your smaller stamps. Just a lot easier to work with, to handle. It's like a little handle for your stamps. Okay, June. All right, so June is going to go right there. And then I think I'm going to do this day of the week one next. And that is where, that's so weird. I don't know what happened to that. I was using it this morning when I was finishing up that news list before we started. I do not know. All right, so normally I say right size your stamp to your stamping block until you can't find your stamping block. And then you've got to use what you have. So I'm going to use this much larger one, which will still work, just a little bit more to kind of hang on to. All right, that will go underneath. This is the little day of the week. Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. Put that right there. And then we need the 25th. Oh, that guy's starting, ooh, whoopsie. This guy's starting to dry out, so let me just put this here. That guy fell off of my stamping block very quickly. That tells me that the back side of that stamp is dirty, that it probably has a little bit of hair or lint on it. And so it is making it so it is not sticking very well to the stamping block. When that happens with your stamps, just clean them off. Clean off the back side, and then you'll be good. You'll be all sticky again. All right, so my 2-5, let's see where we want my 2 to go. Move them over just a tad because the TH needs to fit right there. So let's take our little pencil and do right there and right there. Then that's kind of my little point of, so I know where my 2 goes. I'm using that little 1.625er, right? Right size my stamp to my stamping block. back over here. For my 2. And then I will want to wait to erase those pencil marks until later. Your Distress Oxides are a pigment, well, really they're a hybrid pigment dye base, but they take a little second to dry. So I would not want to come back in with my pencil right now and try to erase that, because I'd end up smearing a little bit of that ink. So I'll do that later. Okay, there's my 2. And then we'll get the 5 next to it. So if you are doing a what-a-day list, I find anymore it's very difficult for me to remember what I did in a day. Now I can remember the bigger things, but it's hard for me to remember what I did in a day if I'm going back like a week or even a couple of days. So a good idea for this one is to maybe decide ahead. Maybe decide, hey, tomorrow I'm going to do this for tomorrow. Or, you know, I always put out our list topics a couple of days before. So if you find out on a Thursday that we are going to do what a day on Saturday, then maybe do your day as Friday. Okay, 2, 5, and then we'll have our little TH. I'm missing all kinds of things. Ordinal numbers. Jennifer tore her, those are called ordinal suffixes. Ms. L, how do you know that? Like, how do you know that? I love that. I love that. Ordinal suffixes or ordinal indicators. Wow, I learned something new today for sure. I will tell you, I relearned something also on Wednesday. I totally looked like a dummy. That's okay. I totally looked like a dummy. Someone was here, Flora, and I'm like, oh, this is what flora is and this is what fauna is. And then she's like, actually, Lil, that's not what that is. I'm like, oh, flora and fauna. And so, but it was fun. I'm like, oh, I'm a dummy. Don't pay attention to me. Ordinal indicator. Do you think I'm ever going to remember what that is? No. Ordinal suffixes. Ordinal suffixes. You guys are so smart. So smart. We could do a list about things I learned today. Things I learned this week. I learned that is called an ordinal suffix. So what is an ordinal indicator? Okay, Jennifer. Jennifer tore mine last summer setting up her classroom. I forgot I'm not young and jumped off a chair instead of carefully stepping down. Yeah. I hate it when life reminds us that we're getting old, right? Hello, Amanda. Nice to see you. Amanda said, you received all your goodies. Oh, lovely. Lovely, lovely, lovely. Now you can play. All right. Did we clean off our June? Let's clean off our June. All right. So now we are ready just to, this is a little bit, yeah. You guys see that? It's a little bit, I geared it a little bit too left. But you know what? I really now feel like this has to go here to fill in a little bit of that space, doesn't it? It kind of does. Oop, that guy never got appeared yet. All right, it filled up a little bit of that space. Not so bad. Not so bad. Definitely not worth starting over for though, right? If it's not centered, it's not centered. It's art. That's how you know it's not AI. Okay, so now we are ready for our list. And now I'm basically just making a list of things that I did on June 25th. And it's just, you know, it just kind of is what it is, right? But like I said before, I think it's kind of fun to have a mixture of types of days. Maybe you're on a trip, maybe you're on vacation, maybe you're doing something out of the ordinary on a day. Sometimes it's fun to have those days in, but other times, just good to have an ordinary day. What about this guy? No, I think it's just going to stay. Oh, I need a bullet stamp. Okay. I need a bullet stamp. A bullet stamp. I think what I will do, I think I will do a, how did I get on there? A rub-on. A run-on. I'm going to do a run-on list. As opposed to like a vertical like that, I'm going to do a run-on where I just write. So I need a bullet to separate the things in my list. There are 3 bullet stamps. Bullets and more 2, bullets and more 3. So let's see what we might like to use. We have some butterflies. There is a butterfly stamp, but I don't feel like I really have to use a butterfly, right? There are some little flowers. There are, I don't know, maybe I'll use the little butterfly. That's on bullets and more 2. So little guy right there. So the bullet stamps, that is what I use. Those are probably the most used stamps that I have, bullet stamps. So when that would be like an example of a bullet stamp on a run-on list. That would be another one where I'm just using a stamp to separate the things on my list because it is run-on. All right, so I'm using a totally different type of stamp block for this, and that's a stamping stylus. This is another one of my products, the stamping stylus. Your little stamp, because these are little tiny. Remember we talk about right-sizing your stamping block to your stamp? Well, that's a really teeny little tiny stamp. So the stylus is for your little teeny tiny stamps. When you are placing your stamp at the end of the stylus, if your stamp has a direction to it, like a butterfly, right? If I stamp it this way versus this way versus this way versus this way, right? It has a direction to it. So if I'm paying attention to where I place that stamp and the direction of it in relation to the little sticker right here, that is your reference point. Because you can't see the stamp when you're stamping because it's really tiny and it's at the end of this stamping stylus. But you can see where the sticker is. So if you have the sticker in the same placement every time you're stamping, then your stamp will be in the same placement every time you're stamping. Ish, right? There we go. There's my butterfly. First thing on my list. I was up at 5:00 a.m. courtesy of Reggie. Little turd. He's sleeping away in his little bucket right here on my desk. Last night, 2 times in the middle of the night. He's like a freaking newborn baby. I didn't know. We've had cats. I've had cats since I graduated from college. Never knew. He's a social eater. So he wants you to be next to him when he starts eating. Literally for half a second and then you can leave, but he wants you to be there. So in the middle of the night when he decides he wants to eat, he wants you to be there and he wakes me up. We have a bowl of food in our bedroom. Do you think that's close enough? It's not. He makes me get out of bed and then I literally take 2 steps and stand right in front of his bowl of food and then he starts eating and then I go back to bed. But that's not how I thought once I was done having babies that I would never be up in the middle of the night again like that with a thing. Yeah, anyhow. So, up at 5 a.m. on the 25th. I was up at 5 a.m. for the day, courtesy of Reggie. After that, I read, had coffee, always in bed, and breakfast. Okay, next up, finally finished the 3rd book in the Beartown series. Oh my gosh, that 3rd one, it drug on and on and on and on and on and on and on. But I'm like, I've committed, I gotta finish it. And I did. All right, next up, I got ready for the day. You know, like shower, Put some makeup on. Got dressed. Then I worked with Lily processing orders. Denise was gone for the day, so I worked with Lily on processing orders. I don't do that anymore. I rarely have anything to do with that because Lily and Denise take care of all of that, but worked processing orders on the 25th. After that, I placed some reorders. Simple stories. And idea books. You guys, I just ordered the 4th edition of the original idea book. That's 4 reprints. 4 reprints of that original idea book. And 2nd reprint of the 2nd idea book. After we did the first printing of the idea book, the first printing of the first idea book, I had to reorder a month later. And then I started getting wise. So I need to be ordering way more. And I thought the first order, I thought that was a lot. I thought I'd have it for at least a year, month in. So 2nd and 3rd idea books have now increased the orders, the first orders, but just reordered now idea book number 2 for the 2nd time. So that's kind of fun. So reorders, this was a good one. Uploaded the Dear December paper files to the printer. This is how awesome my printer is. Not my physical printer, the printer that I work with that prints my idea books and all the paper and everything like that. Uploaded those on the 25th. He is coming on Monday with the proofs. So they are amazing to work with. They've been amazing to work with. Internet went out. Well, I don't know what happened. It was out for 3 hours, whatever happened. So I spent that time, worked on my design and shipping schedule. Schedule. That was for July through November. I am headed into the really crazy busy time of year where I am traveling and teaching quite a bit in September, October, and November. And there is a lot of design work to be done. And there's a lot of travel in there. And then there's a lot of shipping of new products in there. So I have like this giant, well, not giant, but I'll just show you. This is I'm whole brained. I did not put this into Excel, but this is how I think of things when I've got all of these things. All of these projects, design projects, and they all have different due dates, sneak peeks, design, instructions, kits, shipping in general. Anyhow, so then I have to start color coding. Now that I've got it all down, now I have to start color coding all of this so I know what's got to be done when, because then my Lily and Denise for shipping, they have to know when they're kitting things, when they're shipping things, anyhow. So that was about a 3-hour process. But I'm glad that the internet went out because then that kept me focused instead of distracted, right? All right. After that, we had a Teams call with Kat. Kat is future and daughter-in-law. Teams call with Kat to go over her resume. She's a teacher. And so Nick set up a Teams call and we got on and I shared my screen. She had sent her resume and I found something online. We pull it up into this resume template builder, went through everything, and she was saying, okay, let's add this, and we were just giving her some pointers and then did that. So it was kind of fun. And then I did What's New Wednesday. So up at 5, What's New Wednesday ended about 9 p.m. So there's some long days around here. And then to wrap up the evening, Nick and I started watching season 4 of The Bear. We love The Bear. All right, so there we go. That is my what a day. Now as I look at this, it's very bottom heavy, right? I should have started up a little bit higher, but I didn't. So you know what? It is what it is. But it's done. So it's kind of fun. I don't think I have ever done a currently and a what a day side by side, but actually those two work really well together. So if you are one of those people who likes to have a double page spread, but you feel like you don't have enough content for a double page list, then do something like that, because they kind of go together, right? I mean, they're both time capsules. Shop vacs on again. He must be close to being done with that, because we can hear the shop vac again. Bless his heart. Now I always say, but not in the bad way, in this way, oh, bless his heart. Yeah. Okay, there we go. All right, clean this guy off. And we'll be ready for our second list. All right. What are we talking about here? Hang on. Oh, he has me trained. Exactly, Diane. And you know what? Of course, Nick and Sam, because it's Sam's cat, but Sam doesn't live, long story, Sam doesn't live here. Reggie had to come live with us, which is totally fine. I love him. But Nick's like, funny, honey, when you're out of town, he doesn't do that to me. And Sam's like, Mom, when you guys are out of town and I come and stay at your house, he doesn't do that to me. And I'm like, shut up. They're like, you just have to, it only takes a couple times. You just have to like kick him off the bed. I'm like, yeah, but he comes right back on the bed and attacks my feet. And then it's to the point, as soon as I feel him on the bed, I am wide awake because I'm prepared for the attackage of the feet. And I'm like, I'd just rather get out of bed. Get out of bed, stand in front of his food bowl for 8/100ths of a second, and then get back in bed, and then hope I can go back to sleep. All right, so that was our second list. Let me get these little guys put away. So on both of those lists, I used die cuts and pattern paper from the Spring Summer Season Pass. You can see lots of project examples on the website, a ton, with the Spring Summer Season Pass. Some that I have done, and then some the design team has done using that kit. Alrighty, so now this one is really done. That insert is now put it to bed. Well, at some point I will recover it. Restitch it, recover it. Okay, our last list for the day is another one that we do on a monthly basis. Oh, okay, hold please. I'm going to have a quick sip, and I had come up in the chat to just take a look and see. 12:34. Colleen, are you here? 12:34. There you are. Of course you are. Yes, I just happened to see that. All right, let me just look because I missed something about. That sounds fun, Jennifer. She's getting ready to go on a trip, and she's going to prep a page to do for one of those days. I love that. Jennifer's cats wake her up at 4. They want treats. Oh yeah, they're like babies. They know that if you wake them up in the middle of the night, you will tend to them, right? Carrie's struggling with cleaning her craft room. Yeah, sometimes it's fun, but yeah, sometimes not. And it's nice to have it done, right? Nice to have it done, but the process of getting there is sometimes a struggle. Purging, yes, lots of purging. When I do that, I purge a lot because I have a lot of product come across my desk, right? So I can't possibly ever use it all. So when I purge, we have what I call the teacher box here. So it is a box or bin that things go into when I'm done working with the collection. Denise is a scrapbooker. Lily is not. So Denise gets first shot at whatever is in there. But one of her daughters is a school teacher. So whatever is in that bin then goes to school, and then the teachers, do whatever they want with it. Let's see. donate it. Some people donate, right, to Goodwill or, that's good. DW said, I always put stuff I am not using in a plastic tub and store it in my basement. Then if I have not used it in 6 months, I decide to sell it or to donate it. Kind of like the clothes in your closet. They say to put all of your hangers facing one direction. And then as you wear things, put them on the hanger, but facing the opposite direction. So the hangers are facing the opposite direction. Then at the end of 6 months, you can see what you've worn and not worn. And then you can, purge. Karen said, shut the door to your bedroom. Yeah, I tried it, Karen. He stands at the door and he does this on the door, right? And then he does this on the doorknob with his little, Reggie's smart. He does this on the doorknob with his little hands and he tries to open the door. And I hear it all. Nick says, lock him in the laundry room, and then I feel bad. So I shouldn't complain, right? There's solutions. You could just lock him up, but I don't. Hi, Becky Moore. All right. Okay. Have enough hydration. Our last list is another list that we do on a monthly basis, and it is called About Last Month. About Last Month is he just came up. He's carrying all the tools. I think he might be done down there. Let's cross our fingers. About Last Month is a list we started doing 5 years ago. 5 years ago. What?
It's a list about stuff that happened last month.
Yeah. Thanks, honey.
Spit it out.
Do you want to come in and do this? Did you hear him? He's like, spit it out. It's a list that you do about last month. He doesn't know that I was whispering to you guys in the middle there. Anyhow, it's a list that we do about things that happened last month. We usually do it the first Saturday of a new month. Today, we are doing it the last Saturday of the month because we will not be listing together again until... let me look really quickly. Well, I guess we could have done it on Tuesday the 1st. That's okay. Well, Tuesday the 1st and then listing again Saturday the 12th. Don't mind me. But you were making a list of things that happened in the prior month. So my About Last Month list for today is actually for the month of June. All right. So let's take a look at the one that we did for the month of May, and it will give you an idea, but I'm totally switching things up today. I'm doing something totally different. I have had this sketched out for probably the last 4 months of About Last Month, and then I haven't done it. So today is the day we're doing it. So About Last Month, I have a new stamp set, a new About Last Month stamp set every year. So I think we're into our 4th one right now. I will be using the 2025 About Last Month stamp set. And I am stamping a title. I add photos, add a little bit of decorating, and then make my run-on list about things that happened during the month. And if you look in any of the idea books, going all the way back to the very first one, there is always a chapter for About Last Month. So as I look here, kind of a little blurb on what it is. And then you will see all 12 of my About Last Month lists for the month of, not the month, but for 2024. And one thing that you'll notice, they're all pretty much the same. They're all pretty much laid out the same. There's a title. The title design changes from year to year based on the stamp set. There are photos, there's decoration, and there are words. Sometimes I go a little crazy with the way I do my photos, but for the most part, sometimes there's more photos, sometimes there are fewer photos, sometimes I do a little tip in to add a little bit more visual interest, but it is the same list for all 5 years. The nice thing about that, I can say that I am caught up in my memory keeping because I have been doing that for the last 5 years. That doesn't mean that I won't go back to some of those months and do more on a particular topic, but there you have it. That is About Last Month. Super easy way to stay current. And because you are using kind of the same design format every month, at least I do for a full year, it's kind of a no-brainer to do. I just need to make sure I know what's on my list. With that said, I'm switching things up a little bit for this month. I did some pre-work because I had to do the pre-work to make sure that this was going to work. My idea. And it did. My idea worked. So I will show you what I did. We will do one of the many that I did, and then we will get ourselves ready. So I've already pulled out that stamp set. I am using the In the Circle die. And this was my process as I was seeing if that would work. My idea, my sketch, was I wanted to try some circular photos and see if that would work. So there's my little sketch, maybe with some little die cuts worked in there. So based on my sketch, I took the In the Circle metal die, right? And I started out with just some white squares. And I cut those circles out because I thought I need to see if this whole idea will work. So I did that.
The circle come over here.
How did the repairing go, dear?
Oh, it's waiting for drywall mud to dry.
Waiting for drywall mud to dry. Okay. Okay. So then I just started kind of laying out the circles. I'm like, okay, is this even going to work? Like, I don't really want to print all my photos and cut them out and then start laying them out and go, okay, yeah, this isn't going to work at all. So I kind of did that and thought, well, you know, I think that will work. So how many would I want? How many photos would I want? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 8 or 9 maybe. And I decided, okay, I'm going to do it. Then I printed 5x7 photo. This was a 5x7 photo. I printed that photo on the Epson PictureMate PM400 printer. That is the printer that you see me use 99.9% of the time in all of my projects, whether it's my creative lists, whether it's mini books. The only time I use a different printer is if I need to print a larger photo. So I printed a 5x7 with the Epson Creative Print app. It is a free app, both on Apple and on Android app stores. That is the Epson Creative Print app. The Epson Creative Print app, for me, in my opinion, is where the power really comes into play with that Epson PM400 printer. It is an app that has a whole bunch of pre-configured templates. So pre-configured little templates, like, let me show you. In that one? No. In this one. Okay. So, open. Pre-configured templates. That is a 5x7. One of the templates, 4 photos. This one is also a 5x7. One of the templates, 8 photos. This one is also a 5x7, 12 photos. I just didn't put photos there because I usually don't put photos there if I want to do a little bit of decorating there. Let me just look. Here is another one, 4x6, 2 3x4 photos. So it has a ton of different templates like that. The nice thing about the templates like that, you can use the photo as it is, right? That's a 5x7. Keep this whole and you have 12 little photos on there, or you can cut the pieces apart, right? So this was a 4x6 where I cut 2 3x4s out of that, just all using those pre-configured templates. So I took a 5x7. It would have been just like this. I just didn't have the white borders there. So I would have printed something like that, which really was that. And then I came in and cut it in half. I had to cut it in half because I use it's the one I had up here, so that's what I used. This little die cut machine, the Anna Griffin Empress Mini, which is a little bit narrower than, well, actually quite a bit narrower than like a regular size machine. So I cut that in half, all right? I had 2 strips just like that. I put my die on top of the part of the photo that I wanted to cut out, ran it through a machine. Did the same thing on the bottom half. So I did that with 2.5, 5x7 photos, and that gave me a whole bunch of little circles. All right, so here are my little circles. And I just used that in the circle die to punch all of those out. This is the one that I didn't do yet. So I thought I'd just kind of walk through that process of what I did, and then that will be my last circle. So when I am using a die cut machine, and this doesn't really matter what kind of machine you have, this is the same premise, whether it's an automatic one like mine is, or whether it's a hand crank that you have to roll through. The whole premise behind a die cut machine is that there are really heavy rollers in there. You put your plates through, and those rollers apply an incredible amount of pressure on the die, and the die cuts whatever you are cutting. All right, so you're first making a sandwich with your plates. I always kind of draw a parallel to one of my favorite sandwiches when I was a little kid that I haven't had in probably 40 years. A bologna sandwich. And a bologna sandwich back then, I would make, my mom would make, whatever, Wonder Bread. So we're making a sandwich. You put the first piece of Wonder Bread down. That is your first plate. All right, that goes in the bottom. Then you put your, in my case, I'm putting my magnetic mat down. You might have a mat, you might have a magnetic mat. Now, some of you see this and go, holy cow, Lael, what's going on? Why are all those marks on your mat? And I say, well, I cut into the mat. You can either put your die face down and cut into the mat, or you put your die face up and you cut into the plate. Either way, eventually you have to replace these. If you're cutting into the mat, you have to replace it. If you're cutting into the plate, you replace it. So I just do it this way because I'm lazy and it's easier. So my Wonder Bread, that's my bologna, all right? This is my piece of Kraft Singles, my cheese. That is what I want to cut out. That is going on next. Then I have my die. I don't know, maybe my die is lettuce that I probably back then my mom would have put lettuce on my bologna sandwich and then I would have taken it off and not eaten it. But that's my die. My die has a raised edge and then it has a flat edge. The raised edge is what is going to cut. So I put that face down, the raised edge facing down, and I just kind of put it wherever I want it to cut. All right, so let's just do maybe right there. Because it's magnetic, it's holding it in place. I'm putting my top plate on, which is my second piece of Wonder Bread. And there's Miracle Whip on there too, by the way, on that sandwich, because back then that's how you had to have it. That was like an unwritten rule. Wonder Bread, Miracle Whip, bologna, Kraft cheese. Your Kraft, oh, maybe I forgot that. My Kraft Singles, I think I forgot that. Maybe I didn't. Whatever. You had to have your Kraft American cheese that you'd unpeel from the little wrapper and stick it down, more Miracle Whip, and then you're ready to go. So my sandwich is ready. I am going to press run. Because it's automatic, it's just going to pull that through. And it has cut out that circle. All right. That is the in the circle die. It coordinates with the In the Circle stamp set. On the website, if you go look at In the Circle, you can see some really fun things that I've done and the design team has done with that, either stamp set or stamp and die set. But on this one, I didn't use a stamp at all, right? I'm just using it to cut out my circles. Now, if I had, I do, but I don't think I have the right size one. If I had circle punches, I could certainly use a circle punch with that. A little bit, I think, in my opinion, a little bit more work because you have to be a little bit more precise. It's a little bit harder to place, at least for me. A little bit harder to place a circle punch than your die. But you could do that too. All right, so as we are now ready to lay these out, I have all of my circles. And I am just going to start laying them out. And I'll get them where I want them. That one can probably go under there a little bit more. Yes, that is a moose. Yes, that is a picture I took of a moose. No, I was not that close to the moose. You really don't want to be close to a moose. It's really not a good idea to do that, to be close. I was up on a road. The moose was way far down in a bog. All right, so it was okay. And I'm just kind of placing some things here. All right, I need to move these things around a little bit. I have 2 nature there. Maybe that one goes there. Don't like my pointed chin, so it can kind of be covered up a little bit. Let's move this one here. Move that one there. We've got some animals. We have some people. We have some records. So I'm just going to start out by doing this. Making all my little circles. And I don't want them to be, like really uniform, right? I really would not like them to be uniform. Because I think that will look a little odd if I try to make them uniform. Now here's a prime example of when you're like, okay, Lael, smarty, now you get them all placed where you want. Now what do you do? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I have 8 there. I'm going to turn all of these into one giant die cut by using that highlighter tape. And so I'm just being careful to make sure, I need to make sure that there's tape on all the circles so I can pull them off. Now, I'm trying to remember. This will be interesting, friends. I think I've done this before with photos. We'll see. I don't remember. All right, so now I have one giant die cut. Once you get them placed where you want them, hello, pretty paper obsession. Once you get them placed where you want them, then much easier now, I'm putting adhesive on one piece instead of all the pieces separately and trying to get them back to where I wanted them. So now, like I said, the only thing I don't remember, probably should have practiced this part first, is whether this, I'm pretty sure it doesn't pull up the ink on your photo. Yeah, well, it is a little bit. Yeah. All right, so do not use highlighter tape on your photos. And part of that may depend on your printer. But with the Epson PictureMate PM400, you do not want to do that. So probably what I'll end up doing is I will probably end up finishing this, making this, and then I'll come back and reprint all those photos. So we learn together too, don't we? Works really well. So it's designed to work on like your textbooks. Works really well on pattern paper, works well on die cuts, but not on photos. At least not on photos printed in the Epson PictureMate PM400. Because it's just pulling up a little tiny bit of ink wherever that tape was. All right, I'll show you. So you see right there, it looks like I have little white whiskers all over me. Yeah, that's all right. We'll play, and then I will redo that part. Or not. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe it doesn't get redone. Maybe one day someone will be looking at it going, what the heck is all over her face? Why does she have little white things all over her face? All right. There is a way that I could not fix that, camouflage it, by word strip stickers, die cuts, something like that. All right, so now let's grab, I don't know, I had grabbed some die cuts, also from Spring Summer Season Pass. Okay, that one goes there. There's a couple little clouds. Oh, I would really like to use this one. It's rather large though. I don't know, it doesn't really work. No, I won't be able to use him, it's okay. Because one of the things we did in July was go out in Harvey, our little RV, to Grand Junction. what if we just moved this over a titch and this one over a titch and put this little camera right there. It's kind of covering Reggie a bit, but that's okay. Actually, it'll be fine. So I'm adding some of this color over here because there's a lot of the same colors in those photos. Lots of blue, some green, and so I'm trying to add in some color so then we know what direction to head as we are doing our title of the stamping. Doesn't need a lot though, right? The pictures are definitely filling in most of our things here. No, we won't cover up part of Nick's face. Ah, what if, interesting. All right, so I am losing part of this cloud, right? So what if we do this? What if we cut part of that cloud away? We don't need to have it just hidden behind there. It's wasted there. And then what if we decide we would like some more cloud maybe over here? Aha. All right, there we go. That works. Okay. There may be one more, not maybe, there is one more thing, but I just walked across the room for a second. There's something I forgot to grab. Where is that season pass? Hang on. I'm just looking. Is it there? No. Is it in here? Yes. All right, I need the word strip stickers. All right, there we go. Word strip stickers. So I'm going to just grab a few word strip stickers here. And I'm going to put them on some of the clouds. You can tell I've very much worked my way through these word strip stickers. Hello, summer. Let's do right there on that little sun, that little cloud. Hello, summer. And then let's do maybe something a little bit right there. Oh, sure. I mean, we already know it's June because it's going to say June over here, but we don't have a ton of room there. So what if we use this little June one here? Word strip stickers are my favorite. They just, sometimes you just need a little something. Summer days. Maybe right there. It's like coming out of the side of Nick's ear. Summer days. And then I think we'll just do one here on the camera. What if that is fun in the sun? Sure, fun in the sun. Lots of outdoorsy things there. Fun in the sun. All right, so that side is done. Now we're going to tackle this side. But now that we have a better feel for, guess what? I'm not going to end up going back and reprinting those photos because it's just going to be, it is what it is. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe I can figure out an easy way to do it. Ty, hello Ty, uses press and seal to hold your photos in place. I'll have to try that. I use generally the highlighter tape for everything else, but on the photos, I'll have to try that to see what it would do. Well, it probably did. If you say it works, probably works, right? Carol K, the font of the word strips. That's all of my word strip stickers. All the season pass word strip stickers use that font. Postcards and passport collection uses that font. The upcoming Dear December collection uses that font. They're just a nice, good basic, right? Okay, so I think we have a couple of colors happening, really popping out here. The blue, the light blue, and the yellow. Little Reggie playing with a toy there that's full of catnip. All right. Although there's also kind of a green in here. Maybe the green would be fun to bring in. Mowed lawn is a good one. Mowed lawn is a good one. So mowed lawn, let's see which yellow. I'm going to say that's closer to like fossilized amber instead of squeezed lemonade. Fossilized amber mowed lawn. And then, let's see, fossilized amber mowed lawn and prize ribbon. I'm thinking prize ribbon. I used prize ribbon on that in the news one that I finished up this morning before we started. Salty ocean is sure fun. I mean, that would be something totally different, wouldn't it? I don't know, salty ocean. I think maybe salty ocean is calling to me. I don't use that one very often. All right, salty ocean, fossilized amber, mowed lawn. Let's take a look at. Let's take a look at something very quickly. Let me find it in this big stack of things behind me. Where is it? Oh, my stomach just started growling. It thinks it's time for lunch. Where is that, Lil? Why isn't that in there? Well, I don't know. I hate that. When you know where you put something and then you go to see it and it's not there. It's not there. All right, so for reference, we will go back to one of these. Let's just look and see what we normally do here. So if I wanted to pull in 3 colors, I basically have about last month is 1 stamp. So let's grab that again. Let's go to my pencil board. So about last month. You have 2 versions. Well, different, basically 2 ways you could do this. About last month or month in review. I've always called it about last month. But some people have said, hey, could we have a second stamp that said month in review? And I said, okay. So the last couple of years, there's also a month in review stamp. If you like this idea, like I said, I think this is the 4th year that there is an about last month stamp. So different designs, different fonts, different, icons and things like that. They differ very much from year to year. About last month, this was for the month of June. And then if I wanted, I could do 06 there. So we have that, your 2-digit numbers here. You also have the years. So you have 27, 26, 25. So if you wanted to use it in the future and put a year on there somewhere, you could. So that's my first option. But my second option is, what if I grab, hold on, I just turned around for a sec. Where is summer? Actually, maybe that one would work. If summer's spring, come on. Where's summer? Maybe over here? Oh, okay now. Why isn't summer here? Like I said, if someone else used my craft room, I could blame them. Blame it on them for what I need not being where it belongs. But it is not. It's me. It's just me. I guarantee you Reggie's not in here playing with stamps, although I wouldn't put it past him. Nick's not in here playing with stamps. Huh. All right, so we're going to pivot. There is a summer mini icon stamp set, but for some reason it is not here in my stamps. So I will pivot, and I could use the outdoors one because there's lots of outdoors things happening there. So if we did that, we could use the little camper. We could use the little camper. So basically the little camper would go right there. But, well, the camper could go there, or that little outdoor scene could go there. I don't know. I think I might work some of these in over here in my setup instead of doing that. So we're back to 06 June and about last month. So if I want to use 3 colors, how would they look? About last month is the biggest, right? About last month is the biggest one. So it just depends on how I want this to lay out. This is what I would do. This is what I'm going to do. Because if you guys weren't here, this is exactly what I would do. This is how I would decide. I would open up my little test notebook here. I'm going to find a nice clean page like that. We'll move this out of the way. Now, I need 3 stamp blocks because I don't stamp all those together, especially if I'm using 3 different color inks. But even if I'm using the same color inks, I still stamp them separately because I like to control how close I can get the placement of my stamps together. All right, so I have 3 stamp blocks. I have my circle for June. I have this guy. This one is a 1x5. It is, hang on. Works very well for your long, narrow stamps. And I designed it specifically for that guy. All right. Okay. So, and then my 06 for June. So what I'm going to do is, let me get this ready over here. Let's start out with Salty Ocean as the big one. That is some juicy ink right there. Oh, it's pretty. All right, then I'm going to come down here while I still have Salty Ocean. Basically, we're going to have 3 different combinations here, right? I'm going to stamp this. Three times. And now we're done with Salty Ocean. Because one of these will definitely stand out. I'll be like, oh, yep, that's it. That's the combination I want. But I won't know until I see them all. So that's when we play. That is when we play. Zen Girls, I totally could do that. Zen Girls is saying just reprint the photos and layer them on top. That would work totally. All right, so because I am using all those stamps again right away, I need to dry. You want to dry in between if you are re-inking right away because moisture, there's still a little bit of moisture on those stamps and that moisture can interact with your pigment-based ink, your oxides, and maybe do something that you really wouldn't want it to do. Oh, 06. And then we'll try this one down here. Actually, I guess there's 9 different variations we could have had this, but don't worry, I'm not going to do this 9 times. Oh, I totally did that wrong, right? I should have, yeah, doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. This will just give us a feel. I should have done, I don't know, something different there. I should have done the green and I should have done it, yeah, about last month in yellow there. But you know what? It'll give us a feel. We'll know. We'll know pretty quickly what we like better. And since we have all the colors out anyway, and since we have all of the stamps out, it's easy for us to do this. Oh, I think I already have a feel for where this is headed. And then we can vote. Text 877-449. No, just kidding, right? That's like American Idol when you want to vote, right? Oh yeah, it was a good idea while I started, right? Trying to test all those together, but I feel like we've got a pretty good idea now on what things would look like, right? I think we've got a pretty good idea. Because I think do you know which one I like? Which one do you like the best? I am putting my stamp chamois. This is a salt cellar. It is just something that, Salt Cellar. In humid climates, you put your salt in there so it helps keep your salt dry and not clumping. But that is, as long as I'm working with that damp stamp chamois, as long as I keep that little lid closed, that will stay damp as long as I'm working with it. So when we're done today, it'll probably be 3.5 hours. If that was just out, laying out, I would have had to re-wet that a number of times. So it's just an easy little thing that I use. Easy to get in and out of. Some people would use a baggie. Some people use a Tupperware or something like that, but that's just a salt cellar. It does keep it wet. Yes. Yep. It keeps it wet for sure. So your little stamp chamois, right before we start, I wet it, squeeze it out really well because I don't want it to have water dripping off of it. And then it just stays nice and damp the whole time. All right, you guys, which one? Which one do you think? Which one do you think? I'm going to say this is number 1. And granted, I kind of got a little bit messed up here, but one is definitely standing out to me. One is definitely standing out to me. So we're hearing, Carol said, love the Salty Ocean, very summery color palette. Salty Ocean, love that color. Top one. Terry said, my guess is yellow for about last month. Oops, this one goes right here. That's 3. Terry thinks that one. Pretty Paper likes the top one. Crafty Carly likes the top one. Scrap Sister likes number 2. Louisa number 2. Karen number 2. All right, so then this is what we can do. Now we can do this. And we can say, okay, putting those together, which way do we like it? For me, I knew right away. For me, it's that one. It's top one. But either one is really cute. This one just is too, I don't know, it's too plain to me. Surprise, surprise. So VS Vicage likes option 4, which you must be joking because I don't know what option 4. There's no option 4 unless it's a different one we're trying. All right. Yes. Whoops. Now I better look back at that again because I'll be like, okay, wait, what did I do? So sometimes testing things, there's a lot of reasons why we test, hopefully so we don't mess things up. But sometimes we're testing because it gives us an idea of what we want to do. And DW said, I like one with a picture, right? So maybe it changes once you see it with the photos. There we go. So we are going to stamp. Why did I put that away? Isn't that funny? You guys, look what I did. I put that away and I put June away. I am so used to like putting stamps away after I use them. I guess it's a good habit to be in, right? That's kind of like when you get in the car to go to the grocery store and you get to the grocery store and you're like, how did I even get here? You're like on autopilot. That was total autopilot moment. Total autopilot. Some of you are probably like, why are you putting those stamps away? Aren't you going to use them? All right. So, up until this point, as I've been stamping, I was stamping off the page. I had my paper here on my work surface. So I had something hard that I was stamping on. This will be the first time that I don't have that, right? And since I'm really early in my Traveler's Notebook insert, it's still relatively flat here. But this is a pencil board. The concept of a pencil board is to give you a flat surface to stamp or write on. I only use it for stamping, not for writing. But I slide it under a page, and then that gives me a flat surface to stamp on. The more you are working in something you can't take the page out of, the harder it gets to stamp, and you have to be aware of what happened prior to the page because there's enough of a difference here in height in the page and the die cut that could make a little blip in your stamping. So that's when a pencil board comes into play. All right, so we'll lay this right under our page. And about last month, we'll get that back on our stamping block again. Okay. Oops. Hang on, I gotta get this a little bit closer to me. I stand when I craft. I pretty much stand all the time. And I stand because, well, for a number of reasons, but it gives me a bird's eye view. Whoopsie. A bird's eye view of what I am doing. Things are much straighter when I do that. But the biggest part when it comes to stamping is it gives me leverage and range of motion. And I will show you what I mean by that in just a second. So if we go right here, there we go. Nice, even pressure. I don't want to rock that stamp. If I rock that stamp, it is going to be a little bit more spread out at my rocking point. So at the top and the bottom. So just nice, even pressure. Oh, it's so pretty. All right, what did I just say I was going to talk about in a minute? I totally forgot. I don't know. You guys will have to remind me because I just said something about, I'll explain that. Oh, I know, my T-Rex arms, okay? So when you are sitting, you don't have much range of motion in your little arms. I call these your little T-Rex arms. You're sitting, you don't have a lot of range of motion. When you stand, you have much more range of motion when you stand. So when you're stamping, leverage and range of motion is really important. I always stand when I'm stamping, no matter what, because I find I get a much better impression when I am stamping, both from a leverage perspective, also from a straightness perspective. Now, I'm working in a lined insert, and I have lines so I can kind of cheat with those to help me. But I work at a countertop height desk. So that's easy for me. But if I was working at a standard height desk, it'd be a little bit harder because I might have to bend over a little bit more and I have issues with my lower back. If you work at a regular height desk and you want to try standing and stamping, go to the kitchen, go to the bathroom where you have higher counters, right? Your counters in your bathroom and your kitchen are generally counter height, which is where my desk is. So it gives you a higher point than to be able to stand and do your stamping with. But practice, okay? Practice. Get your stamps out. Get a scratch piece of paper. Sit down and stamp. Stand and stamp. Press really hard when you stamp. Don't press hard enough when you stamp. Rock the stamp. See what happens when you rock it. See what happens when you press down. Oh, wait, really hard. That's not what I'm doing here. Whoopsie. See what happens when you press down really hard. You apply too much pressure. That's how we learn, right? We learn by trial and error. A lot of people will say to me, I don't like to stamp. Stamping scares me. And I say, why? And they say, well, I'm not comfortable enough doing it. And I said, do you ever ride a bike? Well, yeah, I love to ride a bike. I said, are you afraid to ride a bike? Well, no, of course not. Why aren't you afraid to ride a bike? Well, I've been riding a bike my whole life. And I say, exactly. Because when you first started riding a bike, you were afraid because you didn't know how to ride a bike, right? And so you had to do what? You practiced. You practiced riding a bike until you got really good at it. Same thing with your stamping. Practice. Practice makes perfect. You feel a lot more confident if you are practicing before you are doing your stamping. I love stamping. I have not always loved stamping. I have to be honest with you. I've only been stamping about 6 years. And really heavily, kind of 5 years. But I didn't know any of these things. I never looked. I never asked. I, for a long time, really did not like stamping because I wasn't aware that you had to prime your stamps before you use them. I like a really nice, solid impression when I stamp. I like my ink to be like those letters are all full. There's no space in that stamped image. Well, that's what I like. Well, I didn't know that the reason I wasn't getting that when I first started stamping was because I had not primed my stamps. But once I learned, I'm like, oh my gosh, wait a minute. I love this. It's just a lot of fun you can have with stamps, a lot of creativity, but a lot of options, right? Here's the thing. If I had die cuts for these, or if I had alphabet stickers for these, I basically have one option, right? I have what I have. With this, you have as many options as you have ink, right? So, and you're never going to run out of a letter. Stamping definitely takes more time than alphabet stickers or writing, but if you treat your supplies well, they will treat you well in return. All right, so last thing I need a bullet stamp, right? So I'm just thinking, these are not bullet stamps, these are mini icons, but I could use these scattered, a couple of these. I think I could use a little RV. I could use a little mountain. And I could use the little trees. Oh, I could use that little mountain. I think I like the trees. We'll use the trees. If I could find what I did with my summer. Oh, hold on one sec. Would they be in here? Because there's other. Hold on. I think I may have found them. I took these on our trip to. Yes, I took these on our trip to Oregon. I just saw them out of the corner of my eye over there. All right, there we go. There's summer. Because now I was thinking, ooh, if we kind of used a couple of these from outdoors, and we used a couple of these from summer, mini icon summer, then that would be lots of fun. I think the one that we'll use, really only one. I think we'll just use the sun. The sun, the cloud, the sun cloud. All right, so that gives me 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 to play with. I think that will work. The nice thing, ooh, I think maybe the summer definition too. The nice thing, or nature. If nature, oh, maybe nature. I think nature will be nice. Let's use nature. The nice thing about the mini icon stamps, and I don't even know, we probably have 12 at least, mini icon stamps. They all are roughly the same size, right? So in all the mini icon stamps, there are 3x3 stamp set. You have a definition, and then you have 12 mini icons. So I'm able to mix and match mini icon stamps like that because they're all kind of the same scale. Okay. So if we do this one, the nature, I think nature I will put right down here at the bottom. And you know what color nature is going to be in? Red. No, green. Just had to see if you were listening. You're like, wait a minute, red? Red doesn't even go with any of that. Yeah, where? So perplexed here. I had that stamping block this morning. Oh, there it is. It's on the floor. That's what I kept looking for. That's the one I needed. So nature. This says, oh, let's just stamp it. Then I'll be able to read it. Let's not read through clear plastic back. Apologies, friends. Oh, that's the second one of those. All right. All right. Just checking to see if you're awake. Nature. If you, oopsie, I didn't pay much attention to that. Better pay more attention to that, Layla. Nature. If you truly love nature, you will find beauty everywhere. That will be a lovely little accent for the bottom of my list. I need to make sure to move my pencil board down a little bit, right? Because when it was up here, what I don't want it to do is like kind of bisect the page. That would not be good. All right. Right here. My nails are taking a beating today with all of the ink. Nature. If you truly love nature, you will find it everywhere. Okay. I love nature, except in the winter. Well, that's not true. I like nature from the inside in the winter, just not from the outside. But I love summer. I'm a summer girl through and through. Okay. When I say my nails are taking a beating, I mean from all the ink. I've got like, yeah. All right, so we are ready to start. So I have 4. I'm going to line them up here in the way that I will use them. I will do sun, mountains, little RV camper, and then that guy. So I will just kind of keep, I want to rotate those. I'm not going to rotate colors. That'd be way too crazy. I think I'm going to pull in the green for, oh, well, all right, I am going to have to do one thing a little bit different. I think I'll use green for everything except for the sun. I can't do a green sun. I just can't do that. So, as we start with our list, this is now a run-on list. And I have my list prepared over here of the things that we did this summer. Started enjoying summer evenings on the patio, which was the photo I didn't end up using. All right, so then we're going to go green everything else. I need another little, my stamping block here. Green mountains. We did hiking twice on the Albion Trail, which is a trail about 3 mile round trip near our house. Oh, so now guess what? Because I have multiples of these, I've got different sizes here, but because I have multiples of these, I am going to, that will work, yeah. I am going to use a different stamp block for each one. So I want this to kind of go quickly. I could theoretically put one on each side. However, it will make it a little bit hard for me to see. I will totally do that, Kylie. I'm going to take a picture like that and go, look at me. I've used ink. Oh, wait, what was next? Oh, yeah, the camper was next. The Camper Van Beethoven. You guys remember that band? I couldn't even tell you what they sang. Camper Van Beethoven? I don't know, but I feel like we need to do him again over here. All right, next up is, oh, we saw an amazing concert. James Arthur in concert at Red Butte Gardens, which is an outdoor amphitheater here. All right, now we're ready. Oh, I really should have done, oh well, that's fine. There's no rhyme or reason apparently because I did 2 little campers side by side. And then we have those cute little stars and the trees. Oh, first moose sighting of the season in the exact same spot every year in Big Cottonwood Canyon. That is the moose right there. Now, I am standing up on a road and the moose is up way down. And so I took the photo and then cropped it. But that moose, they say that moose hang out in the same moose or same meese. I know, not meese. I'm just joking when I say meese, trust me. That they are territorial. They will stay in the same place. So up this canyon, we always, every year, multiple times a year, see a moose, whether it's the same one or not, who knows, in the same place. And this is kind of a big, well, it's in the river, but there's a lot of like bushes in the river. So it's, I guess it's, I called it boggy before, but it's really not. But he's bedded down, right? He's hanging out in the water and you just always look. We always look when we go up that canyon because he is almost always there in the same place. Or I should say one is. I don't know if it's the same one, but yeah, so it's kind of fun. All right, back to our sun again. And now it's funny, I think the sun has to go down here again, even though I did that before, but that's fine, because we're starting a new line. We grilled at the top of Guardsman's Pass with the Becks, Petrowskis, and Kathy. So that was fun. That was this little outdoor, here. One of our friends has a Sprinter van, and so we basically grilled hot dogs and hamburgers and just went up there, and that was so much fun. That is an area that is probably 20 degrees cooler than the Salt Lake Valley. And so when it gets really hot, that 20 degrees makes a huge difference. I also went to Girl Scout camp in that little area when I was a kid. We did the same thing the next weekend. Repeated the same play. The following Sunday for Father's Day. So the people that I mentioned that we had gone with the week before, those are all our best friends. I will show you here. Nick, Carrie, Scott, fraternity brothers. Long time ago, right? So, Scott, Carrie, Nick, all in the same fraternity. My friend Sherry, married to Scott. Sherry and I are in the same sorority. And then our friend Kathy, but not with Carrie, same sorority. Anyhow, we have been friends since 1986. And we still hang out with them all of the time. And so we feel very fortunate to have that friend group. We really do. Our kids all grew up together. All right, so friends, fathers, anybody else? Conjunction. Oh yeah. Took off in Harvey, our RV, to Grand Junction, Colorado. Visited. Let's see. This takes me a second to always remember it. Black Canyon of the Gunnison National Park. And we did lots of things, but we rode e-bikes, our bikes, along the Colorado River. And came home with many record albums. Nick just got a new, he's not had one before, probably when he was younger, but turntable that hooks into the speaker system in our house. And because we haven't had a turntable before, had no records before. When we were on our anniversary trip in May to the Oregon coast, we stayed at a house that had a huge collection of records. And Nick was like kid in a candy store. And so we came back from that and decided we needed to get a turntable. And we needed to start collecting record albums. So we went to an antique store, junk store, whatever, in Grand Junction and found a couple, and then went to a record store in Grand Junction. Oh my gosh. Oh, we had so much fun. So that is what you see here. That is what you see. Though we came back and those are all the record albums that we laid out on the floor that we bought. All right. So that was a long one with not a lot of color in it. I guess we're next up with this. I don't have a lot of room left. Basically, I have one little line, two lines left, and then I have to make sure I don't run into this. So maybe we better do something like this. Just do a little box around here because we will lose that. All right, so last on my list. Let's see. We wrapped, no pun intended, up the design designs for my new Dear December collection. That started in April. It's a lot of product in there. A lot. Designer I worked with was very patient with me. Very patient with me. That one, I was very particular about what I knew I wanted in that collection, because it is, in my mind, as I was, working on idea boards and inspiration boards and things like that, I was doing that with my December documented project in mind, because I know exactly how I need to use that collection, even though we'll be using it for a bunch of other things. So, yes, that is now 98% done. We're just wrapping up the stamps, the final changes to the stamps. But I already have my samples, my production samples of all 4 die cuts. Melissa at Pretty Little Studio is printing all of my word strip stickers for me and the icon stickers. She is amazing to do that for me. And yeah, I'll have the paper proofs on Monday. So very excited about that. But that's a big thing to have that design wrapped up this month. All right. Whoopsie, I forgot this. Okay. So we are now done with this list. So let me get these little stamps put away. I like to put those away right away since they're all really small. I want to make sure I don't lose them. So I used a mixture of Mini Icons Summer and Mini Icons Outdoors. All right, friends, I will bring this up to the camera so that you can see this finished list. All right. So it looks very, it's still, right? When we were looking at the lists a minute ago, well, when we first started, where did it go? Well, actually, I'll just pull one of these other ones out. Oh, it's right next to me. So there's February, right? Same stamp set, still the same general design, but I did something very different this time with my photos, right? I used that in the circle die to punch my photos into circles, as opposed to just, laying them down that way. All right. But still, every list that we see, every About Last Month list that we see follows that same format. And it really has pretty much for all 5 years. That's, to me, what makes it so easy, what makes it so approachable. I'm just switching up whatever I'm decorating with, and every year switching up the stamp set. But other than that, there we go. So that was our last list. That was our first list, things that make me laugh about last month. And then the one in the middle there that we did was What a Day. That guy over here on the right. All right, friends, I am going to turn on the overhead lights, flip the camera, and we will say our goodbyes until, guess what? Until Tuesday, like the band, until Tuesday, because we are listing again Tuesday night. If you missed that, if you missed the updates to the schedule, I had to move things around a bit for the month of July. So we're listing again Tuesday night because we are not listing next weekend. We are not listing, what's today? There's too many days in there. Let me just tell you. All right, let me just tell you when we're listing. This is on the blog and Lail by Mail Facebook page and Lail by Mail Facebook group. See right there where it says July? Let's see. Now I got to make sure that I can see it. Hold on. Come on. I'm just like 10 or 15 seconds behind you guys. There we go, July. Tuesday the 1st, 5 p.m. Pacific. Saturday the 12th, 9 a.m. Pacific. Saturday the 19th, 9 a.m. Pacific. Monday the 28th, 5 p.m. Pacific. All right, because I've got 2 trips in there that we've got to work around. Okay, so we're still listing 4 times in July. Just switching it up. 2 weeknights and 2 Saturdays. And see, I love that. I love that for us, and I love that for you. I'm going to read that comment, and then we will say our goodbyes, my friends. NC said, Just found you today. I loved this, subscribed, and liked. Welcome. I'm glad you found us today. This is what we do here. When we're doing our creative listing, this is what we do. We have lots of fun, and we're just documenting by making lists and then laughing and then adding some product here and there, stamping, learning, all the different kinds of things. Okay, friends, so guess what? We did one giveaway. We did a live giveaway, and Karen won that, but then she paid it forward to Carrie, which was so awesome. There's always 2 giveaways at least. There is a live giveaway. There's an after party giveaway. After party, just like after party of the Oscars, but maybe not as fun, or maybe more fun, depending on which way you look at it. That takes place in the comments when the video is over. So the video will end here in just a minute. And stick around, go leave a comment on the video. That is your second opportunity to win a prize. If you're watching the replay, that's why I do after parties. So everyone has a chance. Leave a comment on the video when it's over. Now this one's a little bit of a shorter time frame because we have, we'll be listing again on Tuesday night. Tuesday night the 1st. So Tuesday night, right before we will start, I will go to those comments left on this video once it's over. Randomly scroll wherever my finger stops, that is the person that wins a prize. So let's do this. Let's do the mini icon summer stamp set for the after party prize. Now I have to write this down or I will forget. So leave a comment on the video as soon as it's over for a chance to win the mini icons summer stamp set. Would you like to know in advance what lists that we're doing on coming up on Tuesday? Because I already have them planned, I will tell you. Let me write this down. Mini icon summer. First list on Tuesday is books on my to read list. Books on my to read list. Basically, the list of books that I would like to read, whether you use Goodreads or you write it down on paper, whatever it is. I will be writing mine down on paper, but pulling it from my Goodreads list. We will be using the Simple Stories Book Fair collection for that. If you haven't seen that, there is an unboxing video of that here on my YouTube channel, and you will find Book Fair on my website, railbymail.com. This next one, Simple Things That Bring You Joy in the Summer. That is inspired by, that list topic came from, I showed you something that I printed off of the Facebook group, right? Where did it go? Anyhow, someone had posted, I have no idea, it's in here somewhere. Someone had posted in the Facebook group a fun little calendar of things that you could do during the summer. That was one of the little topics, was things, simple things that bring you joy in the summer. So that will be our second list, and we will be using the Simple Stories Sunny Days collection for that. Also just did an unboxing of that last week on Wednesday, this current week on Wednesday, here on my YouTube channel if you'd like to see that product up close, but that's also available at lailbymail.com. For the next one, I actually don't have a topic for it yet, but I know what I'm using. I am using the cherry paper and the cherry icons from the Love is Kind collection that we looked at earlier. So I don't have a topic for it yet, but there you go. I will have a topic for it tomorrow because an email will go out tomorrow reminding you about our listing for Tuesday. All right, my friends. Well, that was so much fun. Thank you for joining me. I know there are a lot of things that you could be doing on this Saturday if you joined us live, so I really appreciate you being here with me. And hanging in there with me as Nick was building some Taj Mahal, it sounded like, in the basement, right? Just doing some repairs, but we worked through that with our Sawzall and the shop vac and the drilling and all that. So thank you for hanging out with me today. Have a lovely rest of your weekend. I hope to see you on Tuesday listing with us. If I don't, have a lovely 4th of July weekend. And really, everyone celebrates July 4th, right? Because we all in this world that have the calendar, we all have a July 4th, right? You may celebrate July 4th differently than some of us do, holiday in the United States, right? But have a lovely July 4th, wherever it falls in your world. Have a lovely, great weekend next weekend. And if I don't see you on the 1st, I may see you on July 8th if you are doing the Here and There mini book project kit with me. That class is July 8th. Otherwise, we will be listing again on, what did I even say? The 12th? Was that right? July 12th? I better make sure. Let me just double check. Yes, July 12th. So there you have it. Lots of things. You can just go to the blog and see all those things. It will tell you all those things, what we're doing when. or Little White Male Facebook group. All right, friends. Thanks for hanging with me, and I'll chat with you later. Bye-bye.